Reacting to his budget. It's 37 and cloudy downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. Senator Mike Braun says a serious shakedown of the federal government is needed.
Back in our home states, we would bring every stakeholder in. Do you need more? Build the case. If not, you're going to get less.
Talking to Fox News, Braun says President Biden's $6.9 trillion budget, which he revealed Thursday, is dead on arrival in Congress. Congressman Rudy Yoakum of Indiana says that the budget will only add to the national debt. Contrary to assertions from the president, the budget will reduce the deficit through a tax increase on the wealthy. A guidance counselor at Pendleton Heights High School has been fired for not following the school's gender support policies. The school board voted to terminate Kathy McCord, who is said to have been telling teachers at the high school not to support the policy, which allows students to fill out a confidential document telling school leaders what their preferred pronouns are. In Jeffersonville, a man was shot by police. The call was about a mentally disturbed man with a gun in the parking lot of an apartment complex.
He actually fired the weapon into the air in front of the officers in their presence, then pointed the weapon towards the officers. They returned fire and did strike the subject. They immediately began life-saving efforts.
Sergeant Kerry Hulls with Indiana State Police, who Jeffersonville police have called in to investigate the shooting. The man who was shot is alive at a hospital in Louisville. The cops were at a massage parlor on the east side Wednesday. Harrison Silcox tells you why.
Indy Metro Police got a warrant to search a massage parlor off Washington Street near Ritter Avenue, where they started getting reports of suspicious activity going on at the business. After they got a warrant to search the place, they did that Wednesday. And IMPD says their officers found $1,000 in cash and wound up arresting Gi Hao Ding, a 60-year-old woman, for prostitution. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office will make any final charging decision. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And the quarterfinals are set for the Big Ten men's basketball tournament in Chicago. The Indiana Hoosiers will be facing Maryland this evening at 9 o'clock, while the Purdue Boilermakers will take on Rutgers at noon. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
Kurt, Soundside is going to get work this weekend if the weather cooperates. We have on-ramps closing 65 to westbound, 31 to westbound, and Harding to westbound. That all starts tonight with the ramps reopening Monday morning before rush hour, hopefully. So that's going to be both directions at all three locations to westbound 465. Off-ramps will not be affected. Also down to one lane on westbound 465 Soundside in the vicinity of I-65 to Harding Street. Traffic sponsored by Audible, the best audio entertainment is on Audible. It's the home of storytelling with audiobooks, exclusive originals, popular podcast, and more, all in one app. Sign up for a free 30-day trial, audible.com. I'm Matt Baer with Traffic on the 5s. Follow us on Twitter at WIBC Traffic.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 38,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Your home is your sanctuary, and the first step to peace of mind is controlling your power with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator from the #1 Generac generator dealer, Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake kitchen and bath cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Mostly cloudy skies today, breezy, a sprinkle or flurry possible with highs in the low 40s. Tonight, mostly cloudy and breezy with lows near 28. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
37 and cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Listening to Rob Kendall.
The idea that because some guy down the street from you sold his home, you should have to pay more taxes is wholly ridiculous. The whole thing is a giant scam.
And Casey Daniels.
Sounds like the Indiana Republican Party needs to work on their P&L statements. Taking this much, you spend this much.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Friday, March 10th. It is 7 minutes after 9. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Before we begin the show today, Rob, there was a Tony Katz sighting here in the studio. Isn't that weird?
I I don't like it when he's here.
Why? Does he mess with your space?
Throws me off.
Yeah. You don't expect to see him, and then he's there.
Well, here's the biggest problem. The seat is warm. And then I'm reminded all show that
his behind was right there?
That not only is Tony Katz in the building, but his butt is the same place my butt was. And now that I think about it, I'm just going to have to switch seats.
And I would also like to point out how diverse you are this morning. Kevin is out sick today.
Yes.
And Kylan is producing. So look at you working with two women.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Well, we've said this for a long time now on this show. No one appreciates diversity and equity and inclusion like me. I mean, let's lay it out here real quick. Because, I get accused of being all the things, right? But when you really, really get to the truth, which is what we do here, no one, and I mean no one, embraces diversity, equity, inclusion more than me. I mean, let's think about it. My wife is Hispanic. My best friend is black.
Yeah.
And today I'm working with two women.
Two women.
I mean, I think I'm checking all the boxes.
You are.
Of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
You are. Check, check, check. And thank you, Kylan, for coming in today. We appreciate you.
My pleasure.
No, don't mess up. Okay, it's 8 minutes after 9, and let's get going here with the House Republicans. They kicked off an investigation this week into the origins of COVID-19. They issued letters to the current and former administration officials. They were looking for documents and testimony as well. The Republican chairman of the House Oversight Committee and the subcommittee requested information from lots of people, including bobblehead Dr. Fauci. They're looking into the hypothesis surrounding that the coronavirus leaked accidentally from the Chinese lab. Those letters were sent out on Monday. They don't, however, require the cooperation of any of the recipients.
Well, so this is the thing, right? It's easy to lie when someone is facilitating the lie for you, right? So Fauci, it was easy for him the last several years to just blatantly not tell the truth or manipulate the truth or give a half-truth. And I think at various times, all of those things have taken place because the committee chairs, the committee heads in both the House and the Senate were run by Democrats. So, yeah, you might get a Rand Paul or you might get, a Jim Jordan or someone like that who may ask you some hard questions. But for those of you who aren't aware, there's only a select amount of time they have to ask said questions. They don't have the subpoena power. And so these guys, look, they're trained bullcrappers. He can bullcrap his way through and extend an answer or duck and dodge or whatever. And then the time is up and we're on to the next person. I mean, so there was no actual threat. I think there is somewhat of an actual threat. Not that something will happen to him, because I don't think the Republicans have the cojones to actually do something about Dr. Fauci. But I think there is a threat that he may actually, to some level, get held to account now that the Republicans in the House control the committee chairmanships.
A lot of this is coming down to that gain of function, and the former CDC director, who was asked a lot of questions earlier this week, said that it's not worth the risk during the House's hearing. And he also went on to say that he thinks it's probably the greatest risk the world has ever seen, having all of this gain of function, which, of course, Fauci has been responsible for.
So Fauci, I guess he got asked about this, and he said, I would be willing, potentially, to go in front of Jim Jordan, go in front of the Republicans. He was on with Cavuto. By the way, Cavuto, I don't know what happened to him. I used to kind of enjoy him. He's awful as an interviewer. He stinks.
Why? What do you mean?
He's just weak. Like, there's no pressing.
Softball questions.
The fact that Fauci's on there with him. Like, is Fauci going on with Tucker Carlson?
No.
No, of course not, right? Because you're going to get asked hard questions. It's why, remember the other day when the psycho state rep from Seymour was like, I'll tell you why I gave myself that $1.5 million in raises for me and my colleagues, but I won't tell you. I'll tell Hammer.
Right.
Remember that?
Right.
Remember when he was the House?
Because he doesn't want to be asked by you.
Right. The House of Representatives gave themselves $1.5 million in raises. We politely asked on social media if the state rep from Seymour, Jim Lucas, would explain why he did that. And he said, well, I'll explain it.
But I'll do it to Hammer.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you. And so he was on with Fauci. Fauci was on with Cavuto. And it was a typical Cavuto interview, but he did say, and let's take a listen, that he would be willing to go appear with Jim Jordan and the Republicans.
Oh, if Congressman Jordan wants you to testify before his committee, would you?
Of course I would, Neil. I told you that before. I'd be more than happy to testify before the committee.
Mm-hmm.
Of course I would, Neil. Play it all your favorite hits. It's Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci.
He said that he was not involved in deciding who would be involved in a call he took with a group of virologists to discuss the possibility that the virus was engineered. And I think this is one of those accidental moments where he's denying that he put Dr. Redfield out of the loop on the discussions. But during his answer, he says that there was a possibility the virus was engineered. I think it's one of those situations where he didn't mean to say what he said. Because he's been saying, no, this came from a bat. This wasn't engineered. No. And then when he's talking about this, he said, well, there's a possibility that the virus was engineered.
You know, Neil, I really feel badly about that because I know Bob a long time. He is totally and unequivocally incorrect in what he's saying that I excluded him. I had nothing to do with who would be on that call. That call was organized by a group of evolutionary virologists in order to discuss the possibility that this might actually be a virus that was actually engineered.
Oh, there it is. The possibility. So he said half the people who were present on the call believe the origin of the pandemic might have been a lab leak. So why is he excluding people?
Well, Casey,
he didn't want Dr. Redfield on that call.
You know, I've tried to turn over a new leaf in my life, and one of the things I've tried to do is not use as many exaggerated names to describe people. So I will just simply say maybe he wasn't all that interested in people who didn't wholeheartedly agree with him or wouldn't provide a similar narrative to have access to information.
Right. He didn't want somebody who's not going to toe the line on the phone call. Hey, sidebar.
Yes.
When it comes to the coronavirus, 3 different variants were discovered in New York City's rat population.
Oh, wow.
So that's nice. We have rats in our biggest city who are transmitting the virus.
Okay, Casey, when we come back, Biden said something yesterday, and I'm going to need you to help me with this, because he said he's lowering your home energy bills. And as someone who pays an energy bill, I do not feel like my home energy bill has been lowered.
All right, we're going to hear from the president coming up on 93 WIBC.
In the Matt Bear Tournament of Traffic, it's win and go home.
It's taken a lot of work to get here. You just want to advance through the field.
All right, traffic is really backing up on the south.
And to do that, you've got to drive the lanes.
2 vehicle crash blocking the left and center lanes.
You guys know this. You've got to find the openings and take your shots.
Updating your traffic bracket. Mornings and afternoons.
Prepare.
Construction backups brutal. Watch for the zones.
March Matt Bear Traffic Madness is on 93 WIBC.
Still in your name. What would you do if you discovered you're the victim of a home title theft and that the one document that proves you own your home is no longer in your name? With Home Title Lock's free lookup service, you can verify your home is still safely in your name. Thieves can now discover the title to your home online. They simply forge your signature on a transfer document stating you sold your home to them. Then they take out loans on your home or sell it to some unsuspecting buyer. Homeowners insurance and common identity theft programs do not protect you. Home Title Lock does. Home Title Lock puts a virtual shield around your home's title to help keep criminals away. First things first, verify your home's title is still in your name with Home Title Lock's free lookup service. There's no obligation. It's absolutely free. Then register your address for 30 free days of protection. Visit HometitleLock.com/free. HometitleLock.com/free.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, agile, staying ahead of the market at every turn, and finding ways to do more with less. That's never been more important than it is right now. So for a limited time, Comcast Business is introducing Small Business Savings, a deal for companies across the country. When you call in now, you can get powerful internet for just $39 a month for 12 months. $39 a month. With no annual contract and a money-back guarantee. All on the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses. With the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call and get started today. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Offer ends 3/21/23. Restrictions apply. New Comcast Business 50 megabits per second internet customers only. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call or go online for details. After promo, regular rates apply.
Indy, finally springtime, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Edwina did. She called Rhino Shield.
So over the years, I've had to touch up the house. I just got to the point where I couldn't spend any more money on the outside of the house. And when I saw Rhino Shield, I thought that was the answer to my problem.
Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
I'd had painters here before, and it was usually quite a disaster with them leaving their equipment here and picking up things in the yard. But Rhino Shield was right on it.
Indy, now get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
The gentleman said, if you're interested, give me a call. And I said, honestly, can you come tomorrow?
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for plenty of advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and foundation. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
That guy's brain is a bag full of cats. You could smell crazy on him.
And Casey Daniels.
If she were a president, she'd be Abraham Lincoln.
On 93 WIBC.
19 minutes after 9, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Very thematic with the bumper music there, Kylan. Devo and Whip It. And that leads us into what is trending, and it is Joe Biden. He said, we brought down inflation 7 months in a row. We're going to whip it.
And that's would bring us down to everyday cost. How much do things cost? It's not just whether inflation. We brought down inflation 7 months in a row. We're going to whip it.
Yeah, we're going to whip it. We're going to whip it good.
Wait.
Right.
Wait, no. Time out. Inflation is up 6.5% from a year ago.
Mm-hmm. He's been bringing it down 7 months in a row, Rob. That's what he just told you.
That means that stuff is 6.5% more expensive than it was a year ago. Mm-hmm. How could he say he's bringing inflation down if stuff is 6.5% more? You know what this is, Casey? This is what Joe Hogsett does when he talks about the crime in Indianapolis. So you have a record crime year, record year over year after year after year. Mm-hmm. And the 1 year that you don't hit the record,
it's coming down.
It's still high.
Yeah.
Like compared to, say, 6 years ago, there's still way more people dying in the streets than there were 6 years ago or 7 years ago. But because it's off the ridiculous record crime wave, you say crime is going down. This is the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Inflation is still out of control, but because, well, hey, brother, it's not 10% anymore. It's coming down.
Yeah. Inflation was at 1.4% when he took office. Now it's at 6.4% today. But he's whipping it. It's down off its record high of 9.9%.
Casey, later on, we're going to get into this. How people in public office can just lie to you directly to your face with I mean, this is serial killer level type narcissism and sociopathic behavior. These people can lie to you and they don't care at all.
No. If he keeps telling you the lie over and over again, maybe eventually you'll either believe it or just give up.
Yeah, like I'm totally convinced if you hooked OJ up to a lie detector today, OJ could beat a lie detector that says he didn't do it because he's told himself he didn't do it so many times that he genuinely believes he didn't do it. I wonder if this is the same thing.
Yeah.
These people lie. I mean, they do it at all levels. I mean, later on in the program, we're going to get to the meeting I went to last night. I mean, these people, I mean, there is something really, really wrong with these people.
It's not a lie if you believe it. Also trending this hour, Gene Hackman. Pictures of him have come out. He's been rather reclusive, 93 years old. He was seen for the first time in years. Have you seen the pictures of him?
Yes, I have. And he doesn't look bad for 93, Casey.
No.
I would take that if they were like, Rob, this will be you at 93.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, one, I will have made it to 93, which means the rest of this world would get 54 years more of enjoying what I have to offer. And two, he appears to be highly functioning. He's out and about. He's doing things. I'm totally in on that.
Finally trending, Jennifer Lopez. She's announced her 9th studio album.
Oh.
It's going to be called This Is Me Now. And it's supposed to drop this summer. Apparently, she wanted to release the new album when it's hot.
Oh.
Most likely because it has some dance tracks on there.
She
wants people to dance to in the heat.
Well, you used to work in the music, right? Did you ever work in a station that played
her music?
Jennifer Lopez?
Absolutely.
Were people clamoring, like, as much as I don't agree with it or think it's weird or whatever, people clamor for Taylor Swift albums. Teenage and women in their 20s need to feel better about their own failed relationships, and so they need the Taylor Swift albums. I get it. I don't understand it, but I get it. People clamor for Taylor Swift. Are people clamoring for a Jennifer Lopez album? Are people sitting around going, I need another Jennifer Lopez album?
When is it coming out? I can't wait.
Yes.
I will tell you, when she had Jenny from the Block out, it was a staple.
That was 20 years ago.
Right. It was a staple on the top 40 radio stations, played constantly. It was not one of the songs that was requested a lot, though. You didn't get a lot of phone calls. Play Jenny from the Block. Play. It was one of those songs that you played, but people weren't calling all the time for it.
I have all along thought she is a force-fed creation, and it feels like maybe you have confirmed that to me with this conversation.
Okay, let's talk about this budget. Joe Biden's political priorities, they were on display with his budget. Mentions fentanyl twice. The word queer 7 times.
Wow.
He unveiled his new budget. And, of course, there's going to be this battle with the House GOP. But the word equity was mentioned 63 times in the document.
So fentanyl got 2. Equity got 63.
And queer got 7.
Wow. That seems about right.
The border was mentioned 30 times.
So equity beat border 2-1. Yeah, okay.
Opioid was mentioned 4 times. And the word transgender appeared 8 times.
So transgender,
opioid,
beat fentanyl, and
equity,
opiate. Yeah.
And queer all beat fentanyl.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah. Okay, so
this is our government.
He says he's lowering your home energy bills.
Oh, is he?
That's what he says.
I don't know
Back to more gaslighting from the president.
Well, I knew I was able to get a meeting with the former president. I don't think I would be able to get a meeting with this president. But if anyone knows, if there's someone in the Indiana Democrat Party who knows how to do that, please let me know. I would like to show him my energy bill and for him to explain how my energy bill is going down, because it seems to be going up.
All right, well, let's take a listen to how he's lowering your home energy bills.
That's why I took the most aggressive action ever in all of history in any country to take on the climate crisis, by lowering your home energy bills.
Electricity is up 11.9%.
How did he do that? How did he lower my energy? For once, everyone's like, Rob Kendall is such a sarcastic ass, and he is so mean, and blah, blah, blah. So I am asking... I'm putting on my Kurt Darling hat, who we will hear from in just a second, and I'm asking in a professional way, why is my energy bill going up if my energy costs are going down?
Doesn't add up, does it?
I'm really at a loss for words, Casey.
Electricity up 11.9%. Fuel is up 27.7%. Natural gas up 26.7%. But yet he's lowering your home energy bills. Congratulations. By the way, his budget clocking in at $6.8 trillion.
Okay, so when we come back, there was a big old hearing yesterday in Washington, D.C. involving the weaponization of the government against individuals. And this all came out of the Twitter files. And, man, it got wild yesterday.
Yeah, we're going to hear that coming up from 93 WIBC.
At Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, we're not just good at insurance. We're good at Dylan's Jam Session Truck Insurance.
Where the backwoods party and the diddle-de-doom.
We're good at Ben's Hype Machine on Wheels Insurance.
You a boss. You were him.
And we're good at Ethan's SUV with surround sound insurance.
Dad, play Johnny Johnny Apple Pie.
You got it, bud.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
Hannah complained of a headache. It was a rhabdomyosarcoma. Within a few days, Hannah was in treatment because we were told that the tumor was very aggressive. And it very quickly became clear that St. Jude was the ultimate place to be. So we've essentially put our lives in South Africa on hold. Incredibly blessed to be here. St. Jude is an asset to the world. The research that is developed here is offered freely to the rest of the medical world. The entire way that the place operates is just to give and to care. I think it's the kind of place that not only stands as a beacon for pediatric cancer, but I think it could teach the world a couple of lessons about how to treat people. And I think if those lessons could be learned even in their most basic form, this world could be a better place.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
How often have you thought about finishing your basement? Make that dream man cave for watching the big game, or space for the workout room, or, a place for the kids to play. You bought the whole house, use it. But first, you've got to make sure that space is dry and usable. Your basement and crawl space need to be waterproofed. The last thing you want is water damage, musty smells, mold, and foundation issues happening behind that drywall. Indiana Foundation Services is familiar with crawl space problems and can provide you with a permanent solution. Their exclusive vapor barrier and insulation panels permanently seal and insulate your crawl space from the cold air and precipitation you're trying to keep out of your home. Go to indianafoundation.com today to schedule your free inspection. Take back the comfort, health, and safety of your home today with the help of Indiana Foundation Services.
Indiana Foundation Service. Reliability from the ground up.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Lots more jobs. Cloudy and 37 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. The latest jobs report is coming in hotter than expected. There were 311,000 jobs added in February. Analysts were only looking to gain about 225,000. Leisure and hospitality contributed to last month's gains, and so did retail and trade. Despite that, the unemployment rate went up to 3.6%. President Biden has revealed his budget proposal.
That proposal, it follows an idea to tax the richest Americans to the tune of $5.5 trillion there. The budget plan includes increasing the Medicare tax rate on those making more than $400,000 from 3.8% to 5%, plus $886 billion in defense spending, $6 billion in support to Ukraine and Europe, $3 billion to fight climate change in poorer countries.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. Many GOP lawmakers blasting the proposal, saying that it will only add to the national debt. Movie fans around the world are getting ready to watch the Oscars this weekend. ABC says that they will be televising the show in its entirety in 200 territories worldwide. The Best Picture race includes two of the highest-grossing films of the year, Avatar: The Way of Water and Top Gun: Maverick, as well as Elvis and Steven Spielberg's The Fabelmans. And now the stock report. On the heels of that hot jobs report, we're mixed at the opening bell. The Dow is down 91 to 32,433. The Nasdaq is up 13 to 12,157. And the S&P 500 is down 6 to 3,948. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
9:31, it is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Are you interested in reading a book?
Now, Casey, you know I don't read books.
You read the internet?
I read the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I do not read books.
Well, Ron DeSantis' book sales are adding to his national recognition. He sold more copies of his memoir in the first week it hit shelves than those released by Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Mike Pence.
Okay, so the Obama and Pence do not surprise me because one with Obama, look, I mean, I just don't think I don't think the left is oftentimes intellectually curious enough to be passionate about something that isn't hate. Okay, so I just said a lot of words there, and allow me to clarify. When it's a book about, well, Trump is a scandalous a-hole, and Trump was bribing this, and Trump was sleeping with that, and blah, blah, blah. They might buy that because it involves hate and rage and loathing, and that's how those people get off. That's what they spend their time. That is the left, right? So they might buy that Bob Woodward book that is dumping on Trump. But they're not going to buy a book, especially at this point, of Obama because, hey, I'm really intellectually curious or I want to know more about public policy or blah, blah, blah. People aren't buying Mike Pence's book because nobody cares about Mike Pence. Mike Pence is boring. He's disinteresting. He hasn't accomplished anything in his entire life in public office. We have asked this question time and again. We've opened the hotline up. Nobody can call. Other than sending other people's kids to fight and die in an ill-begotten war and running up deficits almost every single year he was in Congress, what is the signature accomplishment of Mike Pence as a congressman or governor?
So what's he going to put in a book that anybody wants to read?
I mean, I remember, like, as governor when he embarrassed our state in front of the nation, when they adopted RFRA and then unadopted RFRA. I remember when he tried to do a state-sanctioned news agency just in. I remember all of those things. There is no signature accomplishment. Other than if Mike Pence is going to dish dirt on Trump, why would you care? There's nothing about Mike Pence's actual life and accomplishments that is interesting enough to read
about, to even fill the pages of a book.
You're catching a theme, right? People are not going to buy these books of these people because they're not all that interesting. There's not all that much to them. However, DeSantis is writing a book about himself and his accomplishments, and people want to read it because he's interesting and has a lot of accomplishments.
Okay, so he sold 94,284 copies of The Courage to Be Free, Florida's Blueprint for America's Revival, in 7 days. It was published on February 28th. And Obama's book was The Audacity of Hope, and that only sold 66,000 copies in its first week. So you've got DeSantis, who had the number one book, Barack Obama, who had the second book, Mike Pence, who you just talked about, was fourth. Trump was sixth.
Yeah.
I'm surprised by that more people didn't buy the Trump book. If nothing else, because it had Trump's face on it, and all of his gear and swag seems to fly off the shelves.
Here's the thing with Trump, though, Casey, and we've talked about this. It is, how can I miss you if you won't go away?
Yeah.
And Trump never goes away. And I think everybody knows the Trump book is going to be a self-promoting, self-aggrandizing puff piece on himself, right? I mean, that is all the Trump stuff. He's always doing that. Unless you're just a Trump super fan, haven't you kind of read it? And haven't you kind of seen it?
Yeah.
I mean, this is not where Trump dishes all on his time in the White House, as far as I know. It doesn't, I don't think the Trump books move people outside of people who are actually Trump people because it's kind of always the same thing.
Okay, so DeSantis's book is the blueprint for what he is laying out, which could be a potential presidential candidate platform. He claims how he governed the Sunshine State, should be applied nationwide to all the other states. He's currently on this book tour. He was just in California at the Ronald Reagan Library. Now he's moving on to Iowa and Nevada, both early primary contest states. Coincidence? You think that's a big coinky-dink? No.
No, he's running.
Yeah.
He's running.
And we're using the disguise of a book tour.
Let's get to what happened on Capitol Hill yesterday, because this got crazy.
Okay, so House Democrats and Republicans, they were sparring over Twitter and the request for Twitter to review certain posts. And they called in Matt Taibbi. He was the guy who wrote all the Twitter files.
Yeah, Musk gave him the info. I think it was the original Twitter dump. Now, he's given it to a bunch of people. Now they've done all sorts of Twitter files. I think this guy was the guy who got the original stuff, right?
Yeah. And Jim Jordan, who's the chairman of the committee, charged that the government built a cozy relationship with big tech. And then he cited the platform's decision to block the New York Post story about Hunter Biden's laptop. And he said the information op was run on us, run on we, the people. And if that's not the weaponization of the government, I don't know what is. So Democrats, of course, are saying that all of the emails and everything from the Twitter files were cherry-picked. And then the Democrats were calling Matt Taibbi and even Barry Weiss so-called journalists. And some of the people on the committee didn't even know who these reporters were.
Yeah, so we're going to play a little back and forth. I believe the woman that he is going at it with is a woman by the name of Sylvia Garcia. She is a U.S. rep from Texas. And listen to the disdain from these people. Take a gander.
Yes, and I refer to that person as a source.
So you're not going to tell us when Musk first approached you?
Again, Congressman, you're asking me to you're asking a journalist to reveal a source.
So then you consider Mr. Musk to be the direct source of all this?
No, now you're trying to get me to say that he is the source. I just can't answer your question.
Well, he isn't. If you're telling me you can't answer because it's your source, well, then the only logical conclusion is that he is, in fact, your source.
Well, you're free to conclude that.
Well, sir, I just don't understand. You can't have it both ways, but let's move on because
no, he can. He's a journalist.
No,
he can't because either Musk is the source and he can't talk about it, or Musk is not the source. And if Musk is not the source, then he can discuss.
No one has yielded. The gentlelady's out of order. You don't get to speak.
She's out of order because he's interrupted. The gentlelady's not recognized. You're not recognizing my time. He has not said that. What he has said is he's not going to reveal his source, and the fact that Democrats are pressuring him to do so is such a violation. We're asking him about his conversations with Musk.
The gentlelady has not yielded you time. You don't get
I
to
have not
just talk
yielded
over
time
her.
to anybody I want to refer.
All right, that's enough. That is your government at work. So during Trump's presidency, there were leaks, there were allegations, there were whatever every day. No matter how ridiculous it was, they always hid behind an unnamed source, an anonymous source. A lot of it turned out to not even be true. But when they do it, well, that's the shield that enables journalists to get to the bottom of things. And that's all that's holding our republic together is the freedom of the press, in which journalists are not forced to reveal who's giving them information. Okay. I break stories from time to time here. I give information that comes from people, especially inside the State House or other areas or agencies of government. Totally down with that. Respect it. Let's go. But then you don't get to say, well, when it's our guy, well, it's an anonymous source. Well, who is it? Well, I'm not going to tell you. Okay, great. That's wonderful. You're saving the republic. But then when it's their guy, well, I can't believe you won't tell me your source. And if you're not going to say that this guy isn't your source, then he must be the source.
He must be it. Well, are you concerned at all that they seem to be fighting more about yielding the time than getting down to information?
Again, Casey, and we're going to go into this later.
Robert's Rules of Parliamentary Procedure.
Casey, we're going to go into this later because I subjected myself to about an hour and 15 minutes of this last night. You cannot make up how stupid some of these people are in elected office. And I'm talking at all levels. And we played the clips yesterday of Rashida Tlaib having no idea who Ben Bernanke is. These people in elected office, state, local, federal, you name it, they are some of the dumbest people alive. They don't read. They don't understand. They don't comprehend. I mean, they are just dumb people. And rules of order, parliamentary procedure, organized society, they don't give two craps about any of that.
Out the window. Okay, so what was her name? Sylvia
Garcia.
Sylvia Garcia.
Sylvia's mother.
So she's on
nothing. I got nothing.
I don't know that
what?
Song. Sylvia's mother.
The same guys that did the. Don't touch me. What was? Oh hell! Now we got to go to break. So
Where's Kevin when we need him?
Sylvia's mother. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
All I know is Sylvia, who's saying nobody. Your nobody called.
No,
today.
wait. You hang on here. Wait.
Sylvia Garcia. She's on the House Weaponization Committee. She is the one trying to find out what happened with the Twitter files, and she's asking Matt Taibbi who Barry Weiss was, and she didn't know. Like, if you don't know who the players are, why are you sitting on this committee? Do a little research before you walk into the room and start asking condescending questions.
Dr. Hook in the Medicine Show.
Oh, no. Friday, welcome to it.
Okay.
It's 9:42 with Kendall and Casey.
Casey, when we come back.
Yeah.
Dealer's choice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to epically rage about the meeting I went to last night, or do you want to save that for later and then talk about how IQ scores are dropping across the nation? Your choice. Because they both apply together. It's basically the same thing.
It's the same story.
Yes, I'll let you choose during the break.
Okay, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show, 3 o'clock this afternoon. Biggest stories in Indy. We got Biden madness. We got Beer Sample Friday. We're just needing you. 93 WIBC.
Experience the future of connectivity with Spectrum One. You get Spectrum Internet delivering the fastest speeds in the nation for $49.99 a month. Advanced Wi-Fi for enhanced privacy and security, free for 12 months. And a Spectrum mobile line with unlimited talk, text, and data, plus nationwide 5G, free for 12 months. That's Spectrum One. Visit Spectrum.com or your local Spectrum store today. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Inspiration grows here, the Indiana Flower and Patio Show, March 11th through 19th at the Indiana State Fairgrounds and Event Center, presented by Indiana 811. This is the ideal place to find great deals, new ideas, and practical advice with trusted local experts. Stroll through this year's Indianapolis Landscape Association Feature Gardens, where spring is in full bloom and bursting with color. From landscaping and outdoor living to kitchens, baths, and more, don't miss the Indiana Flower and Patio Show. Plan your visit and save on tickets at indianaflowerandpatioshow.com.
Good morning, it's Casey, and if you're like most people over the past couple of years, 3 to be exact, you've probably spent a lot of time in your house. Have you looked around the garage and consider improving that? You know, it is one of the biggest spaces in your house. Call Galaxy Concrete Coating because they can come in, lay down a coating that's really strong, it's UV resistant, and it will make the garage space so much better. It's for indoor and outdoor concrete, by the way. They also do driveway, pool deck, and even patio. Their number 317-751-9070. They're also online, galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Business owners, would your company be ready to run without you? It's a fact. All owners will one day have to exit, by choice or by chance. So start planning the future you deserve today. Join Pivot Point Business Solutions on March 22nd for a free exit planning and action breakfast at Woodland Country Club. You'll leave knowing what it takes to make your business worth more today. So when ready, you command top dollar. Seating is limited. Register at pivotpointevents.com, where owners go for no regrets exit planning. That's pivotpointevents.com.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep your operation running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, Maria in Miami, and Jules in Troy, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with high-quality supplies for every industry, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Skyworks Equipment Rental of Indianapolis has immediate openings for experienced parts coordinators, heavy equipment mechanics, CDL drivers, and outside sales reps. Full-time with medical, disability, PTO, 401k, and more. Apply today at skyworksllc.com/jobs. Skyworks, building America from the ground up.
Good morning, 9:47. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Is this what I think it is? I think it is.
It certainly is.
Sylvia.
Oh, no.
Says Sylvia's busy.
Kylan, you're quick on that one.
Very good.
Good for you.
Okay, so when we went to break, I gave you dealer's choice.
Yeah.
Were we going to talk about IQs dropping across the nation? Or were we going to talk about the IQs of zero that I observed last night at the Brownsburg Town Council meeting?
Yeah.
And we were going to go with the IQs dropping to zero, even though they're basically a related story. But then Nigel texted and was emphatically saying, I'm in my car. Give me something good to listen to. I want to hear you rant.
Yeah.
So we're going to go with that.
Nigel spun the wheel and he picked.
So these stories, we do them even because they're in my town, so I go to these meetings, but they're happening everywhere. The behavior, the actions, the just total lack of inquisitiveness or caring or accountability from elected people with your money is happening all across central Indiana. And we are I know you used this term before, but we are in an absolute crisis of leadership in this country because we have incredibly low IQ, stupid people who oftentimes don't know what they're reading if they even try to read it, and then they don't know how to process it, and you get unelected bureaucrats, town, city managers, whatever, who are calling shots, and because those people sit up there because they're intellectually incapable of the creativity and thought process necessary to do things that are right for the taxpayer, they don't want to look stupid. So they just go, oh, okay. And it was on full display last night. And the only...
This was at the Brownsburg Town Council meeting.
And I told these people at the end of the meeting, the only thing I have for your pathetic behavior and abuse of my finances is my little platform that I have here. So this is my therapy session. So I hope the tens of thousands of people who listen to us every day will indulge me for a minute or two for my own therapy session, because there's no other way. And most people don't have a platform to hold these people accountable. So I do. So na. So they How about that for professionalism?
I'm glad you got that off your chest. So what happened?
So this is a long, complex thing, which I'm not going to go into the detail on because it doesn't matter. But there's something presented in front of them involving the fire department, the fire territory. And before the meeting, I'm reading this. Keep in mind, I've been out of this for 7 years, Casey.
Yeah.
But if I can casually look at something just based on an agenda item and the description of it and go, ooh, that has the potential to be really bad for the taxpayers, and I'm making zero and just looking at the agenda the day of or the day before it comes out, then the people who are paid tens of thousands of dollars a year, who just gave themselves a raise because they're supposedly working so hard, remember we talked about it, they gave themselves the big raise, should actually be able to do the work that I can do in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So I get up there before the meeting and I said, look, these things are on your agenda. I really think that before you vote on this, you should figure out whether that's going to be a tax increase on the people of the community, and tell us
how much.
Yeah, how much, and what are you going to do with the extra money that you're confiscating? Now, the mistake I made, Casey, was operating from the standpoint, because they're all supposedly 5 Republicans, that if they understood it wasn't going to be a tax increase, it was going to be a tax increase, that they would do the Republican Party platform, which is not raise the taxes. That was the egregious mistake I made, which was assuming that these 5 clowns, if they understood it was going to be a tax increase, wouldn't raise the taxes. So the consultant guy that they've hired gets up there and they're asking him questions. And then finally, in a random, confused, accidental act of government accountability, one of them goes, hey, is this going to be a tax increase? And the guy goes, I don't know.
What was the consultant hired for then?
Well, that's a great question.
And how much did he cost?
I don't know. So the guy goes, I don't know. He goes, it could be a tax increase.
Maybe.
It could not be a tax increase.
Oh.
And then they go, well, how would we know? He goes, well, you don't. It all depends on how much the town grows next year.
Okay.
So if there's X amount of revenue that comes in, it could be a 0 tax increase. But if X amount of growth doesn't happen, which, Casey, I don't know if you've looked at the economy right now and the interest rates and everything else, probably not great to bet on overwhelming growth. It could be $80 or more a year in tax increases. So I'm thinking, all right, surely these guys have just heard what we have all heard, which is we don't know yet. Mm-hmm. Why don't we just wait? Surely they're going to do the right thing. I mean, they've heard directly. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we can't tell you.
And within 2 minutes,
they took a vote.
Let's vote!
Oh, boy. Oh. And did it pass?
Unanimously, yes.
Unanimously.
But wait!
There's more.
There's more. There's more. Later in the meeting, they decided one tax increase potentially wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to do it again. And they decided, in the words of the town council president, Travis Tashane, who couldn't run a Wendy's if his life depended on it, but desperately wants to be a state representative someday. I know because he told me one time. He said people need to pay their fair share. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought it was like at a World Wrestling Federation event, and it was the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Everybody's got a price. Everybody's going to pay.
Mm-hmm.
He said because people need to pay their fair share, the town voted to enact what will likely be a more than $2,000 tax increase on every new home built in the town of Brownsburg.
What?
So if you're going to build a new home in Brownsburg, it just got like $2,000 more expensive.
And they're questioning whether the city will have growth or not.
Exactly. So the one tax increase depends on not being a tax increase if you get excessive growth like they just have had because of interest rates being zero. And now they're going to add a giant tax increase onto every new home. And I got up at the end and I said, are you going to give new homeowners like a fruit basket when they come to say, welcome to town, enjoy this fruit basket and your $2,000 tax increase?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is just on new homes. People in the aged part of town like me, I guess we got off.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure I'm giving them ideas and I'll be next. But these people are 5 Republicans, Casey.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm telling you when I say it does not matter.
Fiscal responsibility,
Democrat, Republican, look at our state house. Look at how the Republicans there govern. Look at these clowns last night. And I guarantee you, if you could have a lengthy conversation, it would not be an intelligent one with any of these people that they have no idea what they voted on last night. They have no idea what the impact will be. They have no idea what the ramifications. They are pulling it out of their ass and they have no idea. And it is going on at the State House. It is going on in Washington. It's the same lady who goes, doesn't even know who Ben Bernanke is. It's the same people down here the street from us who don't read anything. It's the same people last night. Will it be $80? Will it be $0? I don't know. But we got places to go, so we got to vote.
We got to go.
Come on.
Wrap this meeting up.
Our country, Casey, is so screwed because we have people making the decisions at all levels who have the intellectual curiosity and mental capability of a potted plant.
Well, IQ scores in the U.S. have dropped for the first time in nearly 100 years.
And it's on full display at the town hall every second and fourth Thursday of the month in Brownsburg.
Okay, so there's new research out that says each generation is supposed to be smarter than the previous one. That's known as the Flynn effect. But they found
it's called the what?
The Flynn effect.
Okay.
But they found out that is the opposite. IQ scores are dropping.
Oh.
And the study was done before the pandemic, meaning that it's probably even worse than we thought. Now, I don't know what the problem is there in Brownsburg, but according to this research, they say that it's technology. That we're spending too much time on our phones, our attention spans are shrinking, and it's making everybody less inclined to think deeply or to think for themselves.
Now,
to read things and put some thinking into it, decipher what the words mean.
Here's the thing, and I got up at the end of the meeting and I said this, and I know the comments were ignored in the order in which they were received. I just do it now to annoy and agitate. But I said it's really easy for you guys to not give a crap about my taxes because you just gave yourselves a $5,000 raise.
Right.
So whatever you raise,
they're set.
You're already coming out ahead.
Yeah.
But the poor, the middle class, the elderly, the fixed income people, at a time in which property taxes for everyone are skyrocketing because of the state representatives in the state house, for you guys to go, maybe it'll be 80, maybe it'll 0. Wish us the best.
Yeah, good luck. Verbal reasoning, visual problem solving, numerical series tests, all gone down. 9:56, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Mom, Dad, Sis?
Here we go again.
Why are you in a suit? Picture, if you will, a world with the best network imaginable. I'm talking about the Xfinity 10G network. Go on. Mom, remember how your reality shows wouldn't load with all of us online? Now you can binge. And Susie, we'll have fast internet in the basement.
Nice.
If you have any questions, here's my card.
This is just your name on a gum wrapper.
Introducing the 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Now through March 21st, new customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet during our limited time Xfinity 10G network launch celebration for just $25 a month for 2 years. Plus, there's no annual contract required and you get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
Spring in Indy. And since 2001, Rhino Shield has been covering Indiana homes and businesses. Just ask Mike.
I was watching TV one night and saw the Rhino Shield ad. And I thought, well, if they can do a house, they can probably do a building.
And Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
So they came out and they gave me a price, showed me how the Rhino works, how it lasts, and how the guarantee works.
Business owners, you too can get the 25-year protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
They started on the building. They waited for us to leave, and they worked Saturday and Sunday so they wouldn't affect our business at all. This was the great part of it. I came back Sunday night, and you couldn't even tell they were here. There was no paint on the ground. They did a fantastic job.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Hey, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Guy Relford here. Time again for the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show this coming weekend at the State Fairgrounds, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's never been a more important time to exercise our rights as true Americans. It's the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show. See the best in sporting, hunting, and personal protection gear, plus great displays of Americana. Come see us this weekend at the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show, Friday 2 to 7, Saturday 9 to 6, and Sunday 9 to 4. It's the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show. See you there.
I'm attorney Darryl Isaacs, the Hammer. Have you been injured by a dog bite? Let us take on the big insurance companies, and we'll fight to get you the money you deserve. Go to WeWin.com for your free case evaluation. Just click and get help quick. Go to WeWin.com. That's WeWin.com.
Hubler makes it easy to get your perfect car or truck. Get your vehicle your way. They'll help you pre-order a vehicle built just for you. Visit drivehubler.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, your lawmakers are reacting to the president's budget that he unveiled on Thursday, plus a shooting involving a police officer in Jeffersonville overnight, and an apology from a comedian caught with a gun at the Indy airport. I'm Kurt Darling. All that and more coming up from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
A hiring slowdown. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The 311,000 jobs created last month are down from about 500,000 in January, but far more than economists expected. And this also surprised them.
The unemployment rate went up to 3.6%, mainly because more people became unemployed than moved into a job in this. And those people who were unemployed, they lost a job or finished temporary work. Now, wages in this report are still outpacing inflation.
Fox Business Network's Edward Lawrence on Wall Street, the Dow down 40 points. She survived. Her unborn baby did not. A woman, 28 weeks pregnant, among the 8 wounded in a shooting rampage at a Jehovah's Witnesses place of worship in Hamburg, Germany. 6 others killed.
Prosecutors say the gunman, a 35-year-old German national identified only as Philip F., in line with German privacy rules, took his own life, adding he fired more than 100 rounds during the attack.
Fox's CJ Papa. Police say they did get an anonymous tip recently claiming the man showed anger toward religious groups and may not have been mentally fit to own a gun. Former President Trump may be close to being indicted. He's been invited to speak next week to a New York City grand jury investigating alleged hush money paid to porn star Stormy Daniels before the 2016 election to keep her quiet about an affair that the former president, who's running again, denies ever having. Posting on social media, it's part of a witch hunt, and our enemies around the world are laughing at all the investigations.
They could not be happier as they brilliantly plot our demise and destruction. We have to get back to making America great again.
As wintry weather across the northern U.S. and parts of California already snowed under, will get rain and snow, including the Sierra Nevadas.
You don't need to come to Tahoe this weekend. There's way too many things going on here, and you're just going to be in the way.
Tahoe resident Aaron Kelly amid a state of emergency in heavy snow causing roof collapses.
That's Fox's Jeff Manasso. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He says it adds more debt. It's 37 and cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. President Biden revealed his proposed budget for the 2024 fiscal year on Thursday. In it, he includes a tax increase on the wealthy that he says will shrink the country's deficit. However, Congressman Rudy Yakam of Indiana disagrees over how it will impact you in the long term.
The president is requesting that we spend $82 trillion over the next 10 years. With only $65 trillion of revenue.
Senator Mike Braun says the budget is dead on arrival in Congress. A man shot by a police officer in Jeffersonville late Thursday. It was at an apartment complex where investigators say a man was waving a gun around in the parking lot. Officers approached the man, who then fired a shot into the air and then pointed the gun at the officers. They shot the man, critically wounding him. He's now alive at a hospital in Louisville. Indy Metro Police arrested a woman for prostitution Wednesday. Harrison Silcox reports.
It all started when neighbors were reporting some suspicious activity at a massage parlor on the east side to police. IMPD then searched that business, which is off Washington Street near Ritter Avenue, after they got a warrant. Inside, the cops found $1,000 in cash, and that eventually led to the arrest of 60-year-old Gihao Ding. She faces a charge of prostitution, and the Marion County Prosecutor's Office will make the final charging decision. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You probably heard about comedian and Indianapolis native Mike Epps being detained for having a gun in his bag at the Indianapolis airport Sunday. Epps apologized on Instagram and said he simply forgot, but also said carrying a gun is necessary.
So I just want to make sure I make it clear I ain't out here doing nothing wrong, but I keep a gun on me because I got to protect myself. Sometimes I ain't with my security.
Still not clear if the prosecutor's office will be filing any charges. And the Indiana Hoosiers face Maryland tonight in the Big Ten postseason tournament in Chicago. Tip off at 9 o'clock, pregame at 8, right here on 93 WIBC. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The idea that because some guy down the street from you sold his home, you should have to pay more taxes is wholly ridiculous. The whole thing is a giant scam.
And Casey Daniels.
Sounds like the Indiana Republican Party needs to work on their P&L statements. Taking this much, you spend this much.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Friday, March 10th. It is 6 minutes after 10. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. We're glad you're joining us this morning. If you'd like to follow along on YouTube, you can. Just type in Kendall and Casey into your YouTube search bar and his beautiful face will pop up. Mine's there as well. You can also listen to the music that we use as bumper music. Just go over to Spotify and type in Kendall and Casey, and follow that playlist and you'll get all the daily updates.
Real quick, yes, over on the YouTube, you can watch the show. We're going to get to Biden here in just a moment, and he's being completely ridiculous again. You go over to YouTube, yes, put in your YouTube search bar or browser or whatever it's called, and you will see, I told everybody yesterday, we're going to put a new little knick-knack.
Yeah.
So the reason, when I was an elected official, I used to put a different knick-knack next to my nameplate every meeting because it annoyed the guy next to me, and I was going to see how crazy I could drive him.
Yeah.
And that became a thing that people looked forward to.
Sure, it's like a little Easter egg.
Yeah, and so, because it was the whole thing, you're not taking this seriously. Have you seen this town? Nobody else is either. So now for the show each day, if you get over to YouTube, search Kendall and Casey, I've started putting a little thing next to me each day. Yesterday it was the big sign, "My governor is an idiot."
Yeah.
Yard sign.
Pure moron.
Pure moron. Today, and people were talking about it in the YouTube chat, it is the artist rendition of the picture of myself with President Trump. And you will see the White House is in the background, and I am wearing the now infamous Red for Rob shirt. You were not here back
What's
then.
the Red for Rob shirt?
Well, 2019, you may remember when the angry red-shirted teachers proudly abandoned their communities and were bragging they were shutting communities down because if people couldn't take their kids to school, they couldn't go to work, and they came to the State House, and the Republicans kissed the ring finger, and Cameron and I caught a bunch of the teachers boozing and gambling down at the winner's circle. Right. Out of that, the teachers got very mad because we mentioned that they were doing a variety of things to get my attention. And so out of that, we formed a Red for Rob movement in which a local nonprofit got money. There were T-shirts sold. I didn't have anything to do with it. I just blessed them being able to sell the T-shirts and make the money.
Sanctioned it.
And so you will see that in the photo of me with Trump, I am wearing the Red for Rob T-shirt from back then.
Hold that up so that I can see.
Oh, yes. I'll do this here on the camera.
I don't think I've seen this. Has this been something that's been stashed in your office?
Yes, it's been in my office. Yes, for a very long time. We worked together for a year. Yes,
there's a lot of things in your office,
you'll see
Rob.
right here. Yes, I'll lower that a little bit there for the people on YouTube.
You mentioned something. We worked together for a year. It was actually a year ago today that our boss, David Wood, called me and offered me the job here.
And your life has never been the same.
You know how I celebrated? I chugged I chugged an IBC cream soda.
Yes.
That's how we celebrated.
And you wish you drank battery acid because you have had to spend the next year with me.
Something a little frothier. It's been one heck of a year, and I'm glad I said yes. I'm glad he asked. It's 9 minutes after 10. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Okay, so let's talk about President Biden. He released his budget yesterday, vowing to cut $3 trillion from the federal deficit over the next decade, in part by levying a 25% minimum tax on the wealthiest Americans. So Karine Jean-Pierre, she didn't have a lot of specifics.
What?
I know.
Karine Jean-Pierre did not have a lot of specifics?
My shocked face.
You've got to be kidding me.
She did say that the budget would propose tax reforms to ensure the wealthy and large corporations pay their fair share.
Whoa, wait.
Yes.
What'd she say?
She said wealthy and large corporations would pay their fair share.
So that is from Karine Jean-Pierre, a radical lunatic leftist who is the spokesperson for the radical lunatic leftist president of the United States. You know where I heard that exact same phrase last night, Casey?
In Brownsburg?
At the Brownsburg Town Council meeting, which is run by all supposed Republicans. This is my point, Casey. It does not matter. These people are all the same. It's us versus them. They want your money. They're willing to take it. The letter does not matter, sister.
Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. Okay, so it's a $6.8 trillion budget. It puts higher taxes on the rich, targets corporations, gives what they're calling a huge injection of funding for social programs like childcare and paid family leave. So let's take a little looky. 5.2% raise for federal employees.
Well, what do you know?
Oh, boy. It is the largest since Jimmy Carter. 800.
So it's not like they're saying, hey, we're just going to do a 1% and we're going to hope that helps you out a little bit because we know things are getting more expensive. They're proposing the largest pay increase in more than 40 years.
Yep. All levels. Top to bottom. 5.2% raise.
Now, that's not quite as impressive because as our theme for the day is these are bipartisan offenders. That's not as quite as impressive as the Indiana House Republicans giving themselves $1.5 million in raises. Now, remember, their excuse with that is, well, the other state employees are getting them, so we just unfortunately have to get them too. And we wish there was something we could do, like, you know, if we were able to write the laws or something, we could write to say the elected officials don't get it. But of course, we're only elected officials, so what could we do about this?
We also have in the budget support for refugees.
Oh!
We have more offshore wind farms.
Oh, yeah.
And a $25 billion investment in border security.
Oh, how much?
$25 billion.
Oh, okay. Well, at least there was something there for, but no wall, of course.
Well,
there's no wall, right?
Yeah.
So remember yesterday we used the term playing government? Mm-hmm. And I told the story about how years ago when I first started in radio, I worked at a station where it was essentially fire sale radio, where if you had a check, the owners would take your check, and whether you were playing bluegrass or you were playing polka or you were playing, whatever it was, anything basically was for sale. If you had a show you wanted to do about go-karts, if your check cleared,
you got to do with what you wanted for that time.
And I had said how when I had first started, I was an intern, and I thought it was cool those people got to be on the radio, and a guy who became my mentor and one of my best friends told me, that's not real radio. Those people are playing radio. And in the sense of what that meant was, yes, you are on the radio, but you're not actually doing something that the masses are going to gravitate to, a show that people are going to, like, say this one every day with tens of thousands of people every day.
Right.
Man, I can't wait to listen to that. That's what the Biden administration is. They're playing government. They are in the government. They are the government, but they're not actually governing the way you would government if you actually wanted a government that worked by and for the people.
Low cume, high passion.
Yeah.
That's what that is. Okay, so Biden said my budget reflects what we can do to lift the burden on hardworking Americans. He was talking at Union Hall in Philadelphia, but the budget, it's likely to be blocked by Congress. Republicans have already called the plan reckless and a roadmap to fiscal ruin. And while he was giving his speech in Pennsylvania, he... I don't even know what to say about this.
There's not much you can. Just let it speak for itself.
Just let it speak?
Just let it speak for itself.
Okay, here he is talking. This is Joe Biden talking about Donald Trump.
Guess what? You may remember, I was running for office at the time, but you all may remember it, that I had a big fight with the former president and maybe future president. Bless me, Father. Anyway.
He just called Trump maybe the future president.
Okay, so in that clip, and I know Biden madness we're going to get into with Hammer. It's too bad it had already started because I think that would have been a top seed because you have him calling Trump the maybe future president, a bless me father, and in any ways in the same
all in one clip.
All in the same clip. How is that not a 1 or 2 seed in the Hammer and Nigel Biden madness?
Well, he was during this same speech, he was blasting MAGA Republicans.
Sure.
And he was saying that MAGA Republicans want to defund the police and the FBI, kind of doing the flip.
Oh, yeah.
Because wasn't it his party?
Yes.
For a good year and a half, 2 years?
Yes.
That were on the, defund the police campaign trail?
Yes, I seem to remember a very large, angry mob here in Indianapolis that burned, looted, rioted the city. People ended up dying. And I do remember that they painted Indiana Avenue with a bunch of phraseology. I mean, and those people were very adamant. I remember in this case, it'd be city council meetings where the people were there. They were chanting. They wanted the police defunded. And I'm going to guess those people were not registered Republican voters, Casey.
Okay, so here he is, Biden, leader of the Democrat Defund the Police Party, claiming that MAGA Republicans are calling for defunding the police departments.
MAGA Republicans are calling for defunding the police departments.
That's a good one. No, we could play you about 10 minutes nonstop.
We didn't even get an anyways? It's kind of disappointing if we don't get it anyways.
It's right to the point.
Anyway.
Nice, Kylan.
Bless me, Father.
Very Very good. I mean, we could play you 10 minutes of Democrat after Democrat after Democrat saying, defund the police, defund the police.
Casey, question.
And now he's trying to flip the script.
Question.
Yes.
Are you the type of gal who gets totally liquored up on St. Patrick's Day?
No, I don't.
Disappointing. I totally had you pegged as one of those girls.
No. I did that once and things went very poorly for me.
Well, so we've got story time when we come back.
Oh, boy.
And in addition to that, you have a new piece out on all about St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, and somebody commented, aren't I a week early on that? But that's the thing.
No!
That's the thing.
That's the biggest drinking day of the year. You got to totally get ready for this, people. Mm-hmm. It's right around the corner.
Okay, well, that's coming up from 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Noble Romans, I think one of the original ones is still open on 10th Street on the west side by Ben Davis.
Yeah.
That's one of the OGs of pizza places. Walking up on those little steps and you can watch them make the pizza through the giant window.
Because I saw an ad for that 10th Street Noble Romans, and I looked at the monster, and I thought, you know what? That's a pretty damn scary monster.
Right, that blue thing with the green nose.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Get 3 rooms of carpet Zero-Res clean for only $149. That's real spring cleaning with Zero-Res. 388-5141 or online at ZeroResIndy.com.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-200-1966. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-200-1966. That's 800-200-1966 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope.
Nuh-uh.
Oh, no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
When your celebration of life is prepaid in advance, it becomes a gift from you to your family later. Because no one should have to plan for a loss while they're experiencing one. Paying in advance protects your loved ones and gives you the peace of mind you deserve. Let us help you plan every detail with professionalism and compassion. We're Crown Hill Funeral and Crown Hill Cemetery. Find us at DignityMemorial.com.
Every time your power goes out, you say to yourself, I'm going to look into a whole house generator. Don't wait another year. Call the Generator Guys. The Generator Guys are a local company that installs Generac and Briggs & Stratton whole house generators. The Generator Guys offer a 7-year free extended warranty. Before you overspend with someone else, call for a quote or free second opinion. Don't lose power anymore. Call the Generator Guys, 317-886-8996 or GeneratorGuysLLC.com. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
You need to figure out what kind of a show you're going to be.
20 minutes after 10, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and trending this hour, earthquakes at 2 Alaskan volcanoes. So a second volcano in Alaska is experiencing elevated earthquake activity this week, and experts are saying this is signaling potential for eruption.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Also trending, Patrick Ewing. He was fired from Georgetown. He said before he started coaching there, he was going to be judged on one basis, his record.
Uh-huh.
And apparently his record wasn't good enough. He went 13-50 in the last 2 seasons, and he was dismissed, let go from coaching at Georgetown.
That's going to be hard because, of course, Patrick Ewing was a legend at Georgetown. I believe won a national championship there, was arguably the greatest basketball player in the history of Georgetown. Kind of had them rolling for a little bit, very briefly, but you're out. Even if you're a legend, if you ain't winning, you're out.
Yeah, need to get the W. And finally trending, and this is a fashion trend, Rob, so we're going to get Kylan in on this. They say the must-have article of clothing for this spring and summer is the cropped button-down shirt, and this is for women. And they're saying that this is an element of influence from the early 2000s, but this one is more versatile and can be worn with mid-rise and high-waisted pants.
Wow.
Okay, so it's just a button-down shirt, right?
Uh-huh.
But it's a crop top.
Yep.
How do you feel about that? You probably wear those.
I
because
wore one yesterday.
Of course. And you're wearing the high-waisted jeans?
Yep.
You're all into that.
Yes. Mid-rise, a little bit too much stomach, but high-rise with a little bit of midriff. Yeah. Yep.
So I don't know what the older ladies are supposed to do with that, because I don't feel very confident walking around in a crop top.
Well, you need to get some confidence then.
I feel like some.
I don't know if anybody wants to see that, honestly.
Oh, trust me, the audience would eat that up, Casey did.
Nobody wants to see that.
Here's what you need to do
and
Monday.
Wear a tank top underneath it?
No. Here's what you need to do Monday, Casey, and I'm promising you, our YouTube views would be off the charts if you do this. Remember the time you showed your cleavage and we got like 9 million views?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't love the show because you've never gone back to that again.
Showing cleavage, that's a little bit different than showing
but
your
listen,
waist. Crop top?
No, I'm setting you up here.
Okay.
If you were willing to wear the crop top and model that for the audience and show your tattoo that you have mentioned.
Oh, we're really good.
You think about what our bonus check could potentially be.
Right, do it for the money?
Absolutely.
No.
Do it for your family, Casey.
No.
Isn't your daughter getting ready to go on spring break?
She is.
Couldn't she use a few extra...
She's got her own money. She's got her own job.
Pennies for the toll booth?
Right. It's 23 after 10. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And online right now at WIBC.com. On the side piece is celebrating St. Patrick's Day in Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so 174% increase in beer sales on St. Patrick's Day compared to the rest of the year.
This will be your first St. Patrick's Day here, won't it?
It will, and I was really excited to learn about the greening of the canal.
Oh, yeah, it's a big deal. Number one, obviously, drinking day of the year. Now, I have aged out of the active, let's go out and get smashed on holidays where that is approved. So I would assume the downtown area will be rocking again with all sorts of beverage choices and options. Kylan, that is more in your neck of the woods now. Are the young children still thoroughly enjoying themselves on St. Patrick's Day in the greater downtown area?
100%. We're already planning.
Yeah. Okay, so the greening of the canal takes place on Thursday at 5 p.m.
Oh, wow.
Live entertainment, food trucks as well.
Here's what I think we should do, Casey.
Ohio and West Streets, yes.
We should just roll out wherever Kylan goes.
And just follow her.
And then that way she'll have to explain who the old people are.
Right.
Are these your parents?
Right. Kylan, why'd you bring your mom? She's really fun to hang out with. But where is the best place to celebrate?
Yes.
According to Wallet Hub, it's Boston, followed by Philadelphia, and then Chicago. Now, I have been to Chicago when they turned the river green there. Indianapolis does not rank very well on this list, coming in at number 141 out of 200 cities.
The best movie with St. Patrick's Day in it is indeed The Fugitive. If you will recall, the the climax of the movie takes place in and around the St. Patrick's Day parade in Chicago.
Yeah, but You could also say Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Well, that's also right.
That's another good one.
That's a strong one.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
If you were to get the market value of the Leprechaun's pot of gold today, it would be worth $1.84 million. People spend about $6.85 billion collectively on St. Patrick's Day, $44 a person.
Yeah.
To have some green beer.
All right, we got voicemails coming up next. People very excited about your rant yesterday on the First Lady of the United States. Got a lot of interest in that and a lot of other stuff.
All right, plus we have the news coming up with 93 WIBC.
With Spectrum Mobile and the epic new Samsung Galaxy S23 series, you get the fastest Samsung phone delivering even faster speeds with Spectrum Speed Boost. Trade in with Spectrum and get $600 off the new Samsung Galaxy S23 series, plus the value of your trade-in. Visit a Spectrum store or spectrum.com/Samsung for details. Service not available in all areas. Internet required. Advanced Wi-Fi and compatible equipment required. Restrictions apply.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Divorce forces a father to focus on what's most important, his children. You may no longer be a husband, but you'll always be a dad. In the divorce process, this comes down to 3 key concerns: physical custody, decision-making, as well as financial support. Each of these is important, and it's important that you choose a lawyer that cares as much about these issues as you do.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Indianapolis area attorneys. 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1250, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
Over 1 million people would like to quit smoking.
That's why we're offering free nicotine replacement products to help. You can get 4 weeks of patches, gum, or lozenges free while supplies last.
Simply call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Quit Now Indiana will help you break your tobacco addiction.
No lectures.
No pressure.
Just free help.
You can quit your way with the tools and support you need.
Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW today.
Hey, good morning. It's Casey, and let's talk about your retirement dream, right? You had plans to sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, travel, maybe go see the grandkids, but inflation and the recession has you wondering if all of your hard-earned equity is still going to be there. Well, here's a question. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in the home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all of your property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do with whatever you'd like. So take that trip. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. It's the smarter, fastest way to cash out your home's value without having to move. It's Truehold.com.
Hubler makes it easy to get your perfect car or truck. Get your vehicle your way. They'll help you pre-order a vehicle built just for you. Visit drivehubler.com.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer. The Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show is this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. For hunting, sporting, and personal protection gear, visit the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake kitchen and bath cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
How they've been taking it. It's cloudy and 37 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Lawmakers are looking over President Biden's budget, so how are they reacting to it?
There's going to be some negotiating, but the Republicans have already said it's dead on arrival. And one thing we've heard from Senator Joe Manchin is we're not doing budgets like we used to. The national debt has roughly doubled over the past decade, and with interest rates rising, the interest payment on that more than $31 trillion in debt is expected to be larger than the defense budget in the coming years. The budget wants to add 2,400 EPA employees and only 350 border agents. And there's that 25% minimum tax on the wealthiest 0.01% of Americans.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will be speaking in Iowa today, although he hasn't said if he's running for president or not next year. Former President Donald Trump, who is running for the White House, will campaign there early next week. DeSantis will appear today at events in Des Moines and the river town of Davenport. Iowa will also be the first Republican nominating state next year. I'm Kurt Darling on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
I'm so sorry you have just reached my answering machine.
Good morning. It is 10:31. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. 317-684-8444. That's the phone number here with your questions, comments, smart remarks as we hear from you and your voicemails.
Yeah, so lots of people interested on the social media, on the voicemails, on the emails about your epic rant yesterday. And I loved the one person who commented. They said it looked like I was looking on something like a Proud Parent very approvingly.
Yes, you look like you were proud.
What a great way to describe that, as you were very upset over the First Lady Jill Biden and the Biden administration on International Women's Day giving an award to a man.
Yeah. Just signaling we're not a serious country, or they're not a serious administration. I mean, it's encouraging the diminishment of women, erasing women completely. We've been canceled as a gender, and it's more identity politics. I was shocked. It was actually the lead story on Hot Air, how they were just...
Oh, I thought your rant. I was like, oh, that's perfect. No, the story that they were doing.
The story, more people commenting about just how ridiculous it was. And apparently men are a lot better at being women than women are.
All right, so somebody called about that. Take a listen.
Good morning, Kendall and Casey. I just listened to your segment about the International Women's Award, and the only thing I have to say is, Casey, you go, girl. We need more women like you. Have a good day. Bye.
That's awesome. Thanks for the call. It's disgraceful. It's unacceptable. And the part that bothers me really about it, aside from all of it wholly, is where is this heading for my daughter, for your daughter? You have a daughter on the way who's not even born yet. What is it going to be like for her in 18 years? If this is the path that we're going down, where does it lead?
Well, it's interesting you asked that, because as you know, one of the things I started doing, and I started doing this as soon as we found out it was going to be a girl, was I started journaling each night for my daughter, and it serves two purposes. Number one, it was to give her an update on, big moments and things that were happening when, you feel her kick or things of that nature. But the other thing it serves to do is kind of encapsulate what's going on in the world around her, in the environment in which she will live, in the country in which she will live, the state in which she will live. And of course, it's my own thoughts on it, and it's my own interpretations of it. So it's almost started serving as a therapeutic thing for myself in addition. And one of the things I wrote last night, after I had the great displeasure of subjecting myself to an hour and a half at the Brownsburg Town Hall, in which they voted on something where they said it could be a giant tax increase, could be no tax increase. We wish you taxpayers the best. I said, I am sad because we are seeing, and I wrote this from the perspective of the community in which I live. We are seeing the community in which I live being ripped away from us, the community that it was that I always knew that brought me such love and joy and passion and why I wanted to be involved in it. And so I said, on one hand, I'm excited that she will walk on the same streets that I did, the same sidewalks, play in the same yards, live in the same houses.
But it's not the same.
But it's not the same, because we are seeing, in this case, I was writing directly about the community, ripped away from us, in many cases, in most cases, by people who did not grow up here, people who are not a part of it, people who do not understand it. They've just transplanted themselves here, and they say, well, this is what I want it to be. So if you were here before and you embraced this and you helped grow this place and you understood that this was a special place, well, kiss our ass, because we're just going to make it like any other town with the little things that we want. And if that doesn't fit into your what you were a part of, well, too bad, because we're in charge now. It's sort of the same thing with this, in which there are certain things, fundamental things, that have sustained us as a culture, as a society, as a country, and they are vital to human existence, right?
Yes.
And you are seeing them just, they're ripped away from us, and everybody just acts like, what? What's the big deal here?
It's no big deal. I don't understand why Democrats are working overtime to push this agenda. They're putting it in our faces intentionally, and they don't need to do that.
And but that is happening again at all levels of government. It's everywhere, Casey. It's easy for us to look at this thing because it's highly egregious and wholly ridiculous and say, what the hell is going on in our country where a man is honored on a day that honors
women? Give an award because of being a courageous woman. That's not a woman.
But
that is a man acting like a woman, but doing it poorly.
But if we extrapolate that, because that's big and that's egregious and that's awful, but if we extrapolate it out, is it any more ridiculous than telling you there is no money to provide you relief for your property taxes? And by the way, those bills are starting to show up online. People are messaging us left and right, and maybe next week we'll start diving into those. The state telling you there's no money for that, but yet when you look at the budget, there's $1.5 million for themselves for raises. And I realize I come back to that a lot, but people need to have that hammered home in their heads that we have a crisis of leadership, a void of leadership, and what the politicians have figured out. And I know we talked about this before. A friend of mine who is in state government, who is a very respected person, who I've referenced often on the show but will not identify because his career would be over if the people in charge knew he was openly associating with me, told me this several weeks ago. And he said, and I know we talked about it on the show, but let's repeat for people who haven't been here before or weren't here then. COVID was a big deal in this country for a variety of reasons. And one of the things the politicians figured out is that the people, almost no matter how hard or far you push them, they will not push back.
Yeah,
and
over.
We can get away with about anything we want. And you have seen in the wake of nothing happening, and most of these politicians who did all this stuff getting reelected during COVID, they are been reelected, they are still in charge. They don't care about you. They don't care that you're angry. They don't care you're upset. They don't care they're abusing you. They don't care they're insulting women. They don't care they're making a mockery of American society and human civilization. They don't care because they don't fear you because we let them get away with it.
It's not good. It leads down to a very bad path.
It does.
It scares me for my daughter, for your daughter, for their daughters. You cannot cancel and reject an entire gender. I mean, the Democrats can't even tell you what a woman is. And I'm proud to be a woman. I am proud that I have the ability, well, I did, to bring new life into the world.
Yeah.
That is one of the greatest gifts ever. Hey, good luck repopulating without women.
It's interesting
you can't sustain that.
It's interesting you said that because my wife and I just had this conversation recently about how insulting it is to someone like her because I can't be her. I can't do what she does.
She should be revered. You should be so proud and loving towards her. She's bestowing upon you, Rob, one of the greatest things ever. Her body is going to go through so much giving you that gift.
So is it wrong each night I tell her just suck it up?
No, you should be rubbing her feet.
Is it wrong that I say, it's not that bad? Come on, let's go.
But something to be admired, not diminished.
Yeah, you're right. But if they get away with it, then why wouldn't they do it?
Okay, I ranted yesterday.
No, it's fine. I love it when you rant.
Let's move on to another conversation. Everybody knows how I feel about this.
Yeah.
It's not right. It's a disgrace. It's unacceptable. Anybody with a firing synapse knows what a woman is.
Yeah, you're right. 100%.
Uterus, fallopian tubes.
Yeah, 100%. All right, got a phone call about, I talk quite a bit about faith on this show, and somebody wanted to talk about that.
Rob, I just wanted to say thank you for not running from stories about Christianity, and just heard that story about the preacher that prayed for the robbers. Amazing story. Thank you for sharing your faith. Thank you for not running away in a day and age when Christianity is shunned and people don't like things about Jesus and things about the Holy Spirit, and you just say it like it is, and it's the truth, because I also am a believer. So I do share everything you do, and I thank you for it. Just wanted to say that. Thanks. Love your show. Doing a great job. Bye.
So there's a couple reasons we do this. And by the way, he was referencing, we had played a pastor from, I believe it was Missouri, who a group of men had entered his congregation on Sunday. They were armed. They were going to rob the congregation. And instead of running and hiding or cowering, he just walked right up to him and said,
Let's
I know,
pray.
I know what you are. I know why you're here. I'm not going to run from you. We'd like to pray for you. And that whole congregation began to pray for those people, and it ended peacefully. There is immense power in faith. And if you haven't experienced that, you ought to give it a try. You ought to be at least open-minded to it, because your life will be altered in ways I can't even, we could do a 3-hour show and I couldn't get it all in. And we have seen in this country a lot of wicked, evil people who thrive and are empowered by a godless society, alienate, push aside, belittle, whatever, the idea of faith being in the public square, Christianity being in the public square and being a part of the public conversation. So we have a platform here where we're able to do that, and we're able to share that message. And I feel it's a vital part of what we do, because a big part of what we do is we share our lives with people. And I have seen, and look, I've always been a believer, but I haven't always walked the walk. And I have seen, especially the last couple of years, as I have put that at the forefront again and tried to be that person, an immense benefit in many areas of my existence. And I would just encourage everybody to give that a shot, because you got nothing to lose.
Right.
All right, Hammer's coming up next. We got voicemails. Or those were voicemails. We got Hammer coming up next.
All right, you're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show, 3 o'clock this afternoon. Biggest stories in Indy. We got Biden madness. We got Beer Sample Friday. We're just needing you. 93 WIBC.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-200-1966. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
Doing more in the community means that I get out and I volunteer.
Hi, I'm Hannah Yeagerbush here at Teachers Treasures, and we nominated David Barabee because he's such a great volunteer leader. He does so much for us to make our mission possible to serve teachers in Marion County.
And I'm Jiffy Lube owner Jennifer Sanner. At Jiffy Lube, we are rewarding Hoosier volunteers who use their vehicle to do more to make Indiana a better place to live.
My vehicle really allows me the ability to be where they need me. either downtown, at the store, or out on a route, or working for the mobile operation.
Each month, Jiffy Lube of Indiana provides a volunteer free vehicle maintenance for a year, whether it's someone who delivers smiles and supplies or drives somewhere to serve on site. Jiffy Lube supports local givers who count on their car to do more for Indy, and we love to hear their stories.
If you know a volunteer who impacts your community, nominate them today to receive a year's worth of free vehicle maintenance. Just click the Do More tab at jiffylubeindiana.com.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Through all the work I've been doing on my mental health, I've learned something invaluable, and that's to give the world a little bit of grace. Show people the same patience that I want them to show me. Really. Matt Bear here. Hi. Therapy, which has been so huge in my life, has deepened my self-awareness. Sometimes we just don't know what we want or how to react until we talk things through. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self-discovery. And the benefits are so many. I do sleep better, and my anxiety is finally in check. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and totally with your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire, and they match you up with a licensed therapist. Switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/WIBC today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/WIBC.
The winter blues are almost behind us. We can't wait to get out of the house and be more active. It sounds great, but your achy joints don't agree. There's time right now to do something about that. Tony Katz here. Stop with the steroids. Stop with the possible surgery chatter. Now there's a better way to get lasting relief. It's QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain. QC Kinetics uses healing properties from your own body, highly concentrated, and then placed directly in your achy joints. It can restore and repair that damaged tissue and get you moving again without pain. The old ways of dealing with joint pain are no longer the only ways. Talk to QC Kinetics today. The consultation is free. The call is free. You have nothing to lose, and the timing is right for you to enjoy the best time of the year. Call QC Kinetics now for a totally free consultation with medical professionals in Eagle Creek, Greenwood, and Carmel. Call QC Kinetics 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer. The Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show is this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. For hunting, sporting, and personal protection gear, visit the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show.
Good morning, 1048 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and in the studio, a double shot, a twin spin. Hammer and Nigel join us.
Hey, now.
What's up? What do you have here?
I brought beverages.
Oh!
It's Friday. Hammer usually likes to start making cocktails before noon on Fridays here.
Mm-hmm. I love I'm getting a lecture on drinking from Nigel.
Yeah, Nigel's like, we were like, don't you want 7 of these? He's like, no, I've got a lot of work to do.
Him giving me a lecture on booze is like OJ saying, yeah, you need to be careful when you're around women.
Yeah, look.
Easy there, Chief.
What did you bring us?
I made Long Island.
Oh, hello.
The representative from Brownsburg has always been a Long Island fan, and you've had a horrible, no good week.
Yeah, it was bad. I had to go to that council meeting last night.
So I made these up with the bar that we have in the back office here.
Oh, how exciting.
And that is, if you haven't seen it, we probably should take a picture of that. We've got quite a selection back there in the office.
It's a well-stocked bar.
Yeah.
It is. I'm going for that whole J.R. Ewing from Dallas type of thing.
Just need a cowboy hat.
Right. So everybody take a drink of your beverage here.
Cheers.
Tell me how you think it is.
Well, that's solid.
Is that solid?
Very well done.
Thank you.
Now, because I know Rob has kind of cut way back on this sort of thing, too. So 1 or 2 sips from that might, you might have to get an Uber home.
Yeah, I'll be stumbling down the halls asking where Mock is. Hey, how's Biden madness going, guys?
I love it.
There was controversy the other day when the 12 seed upset the 5.
Yeah.
And the 5 seed was, get ready, pal. And a lot of people are upset about it, but the voting is what it is.
Well, I feel like you guys are like that clerk in Detroit watching these ballots. The fact that there's no way Val legitimately lost. He lost his brain, or what was the one that
They're
lost?
They're going to cut my head open to see if I had a brain.
Yes.
So to recap the tournament, for those who are scoring at home, in the first round matchups, you had Happy Birthday Velvet defeating Murfin and Ruthers. You had America in a Single Word defeating Trucking and Michigan Gibberish. Cut My Head Off, upset Get Ready Bow.
I love that he reads them like it's like Syracuse defeats Rutgers.
Anyway, defeated Naked Friend. You Ain't Black defeated Kajar, Katranji, Drown Jackson.
Kajar, Drown Jackson.
I think the drown is my favorite part of that he thought her middle name was Drown.
And True International Pressure defeated You Gotta Get Vaxxed for a Hurricane. We've only got one more first round matchup that we have not played yet, and that's coming up this afternoon. But the current matchup that we have right now, and you've got until 4 o'clock to vote on this one. You've got the number 14 seed, where Joe Biden was speaking to a group of specific voters for Black History Month. I believe Al Sharpton was in attendance, and we got these words of wisdom.
And by the way, I'm not. I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid.
Quotes, I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid. Fact check, you're both. The number 3 seed in this tournament, and this one's not even funny, but it has to be in the field. Couple weeks after Jackie Walorski had passed away.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, okay.
Joe Biden at the podium. Now, mind you, he's already named a building after her and spoke about her passing. He was wondering where she was at.
And I want to thank all of you here for including bipartisan elected officials like Representative Governor, Senator Braun, Senator Booker, Representative Jackie. Are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
Oh, that is so cringe.
Mm-hmm.
That
Bless
is
me, Father.
just
Anyway,
and that could be up there.
Father.
So you've got until 4 o'clock today to vote on Where's Jackie against White Boy Stupid.
I think Where's Jackie's going to be your winner this
Yeah.
year. However, I'm going to bow harvest out the ass on the Valva making it to the
when you're singing Happy Birthday.
Happy birthday, dear Mama.
Yeah.
Tony Katz, have you voted in Biden Madness?
No, I haven't because I'm busy doing important things.
Like showing up to work one day.
I know. Right. It's so good.
So far today, I've gotten a lecture about work from Tony and a lecture about drinking from Nigel. It's not even 10:54 yet.
Really?
You got to wait till you get the lecture about bathing from John Herrick. That's going to be That's going to be brutal.
John Herrick taking some shrapnel.
That's how we roll.
I love it.
I'm trying to think the last time we were all in the same room together.
Night with WIBC, probably.
Okay,
Probably,
so
yeah.
twice a year. I can do that.
Why are you here?
So I get a text. I get a text from our regional vice president.
Oh, no, wait a minute.
My God, that's John Harris music.
Here, John.
There's nothing wrong with my You look great and you smell divine.
So do you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, you were talking
I got a text. I got a text from our regional
Good
vice
luck in the
president.
IU game tonight, John.
I got a text from our regional vice president last night. Hey, can you come in the studio? The CEO of Urban One wants to talk to you.
Is he a real person?
He's a real person. I met him, shook his hand. I still possibly have a job. So this is all I know right now.
I still have a job.
Did you ask him what it's like to be rich?
Did I ask him?
Yes.
No, I didn't. I
What's it like
I
to be
avoided
successful?
that conversation. Wow, Rob.
Because we work in radio, so we will never be that. So I'm always curious about people who have made it in our
How
business.
often, Casey, is it this therapy session with him?
Every day.
Oh, it's all right.
9 until noon. You should listen sometime.
I'm very busy.
I just came in here for the booze. We had Long Island's flowing in here.
Is that what that
the
is?
whole Tony walks in like a celebrity walk-on on the
Yeah,
old
where's
Tonight
your cigar?
Show.
We're drinking bourbon. You need your cigar.
Oh, that's not bourbon.
It's not really bourbon, I would say. Long Island is a little bit of everything. We got bourbon in the back, though. You've been to the bar. You know what's back there.
You do fine work.
What's coming up this afternoon?
Tony Kennett will join us. So, drama at Pendleton last night. Accusations. He got kicked out. Somebody got fired. We'll talk about that and Biden madness and a lot more.
Tony, 10 seconds. If you still work here, what's coming up on your show?
Nobody knows.
Very good.
All right.
3 hours of ripping John Herrick. That's what it is.
I should show up more often.
Thank you, Hammer and Nigel and Tony Katz. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hey, Tamer and Nigel for Window Nation. Have you noticed your energy costs have been rising dramatically? Nationwide energy prices have increased over 14% since last year. It isn't too late to do something to fix your high energy bills. Beat the spring rush with the last month of off-season pricing at Window Nation. Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy with 0 down payment, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 24 months. New windows will pay for themselves with the energy savings on your energy bills, and you will pay nothing for 2 full years with 0% financing, saving you hundreds of dollars.
Go with the window company that has installed nearly 2 million windows, including mine. 866-90-NATION. Get 2 free windows with every 2 that you buy. No limit. Plus, no down payment, no payments, no interest for 24 months. This offer won't last long. Call Window Nation right now. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and it's springtime in Indiana, and that means everything from slush and dirt to seed pods and mulch being tracked into the home. And between the kids, the dogs, and even ourselves as carriers of this junk onto the floors and carpets, it's time to call Zero Res. Zero Res is my go-to team for cleaning carpets, hardwood floors, ceramic tile and grout, and even area rugs to give it that smart, lasting spring cleaning. Winter was messy, but it's soon to be a bad memory with the help of Zero Res. I call them because no one else can clean with ZR water, the patented technology that cleans with electrolyzed water. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals. Zero Res cleans so much better with less flooding of your carpets and padding. The reason is the water itself attracts the dirt. They'll stay cleaner longer with a softer and fluffier feeling that you will absolutely notice. They have over 3,000 Google reviews with a 4.95 out of 5-star rating. And right now, when you mention WIBC, you get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $149. Call 388-5141 or schedule your appointment at zeroresindy.com.
Theme weeks, family nights, live a dream trips, and more. Whether you're looking for a short-term rehabilitation stay or want to downsize with our independent living apartments, you'll find there's always something to celebrate at a Trilogy Senior Living community. Trilogy is proud to take care of seniors' day-to-day hassles so they can enjoy life with friends, family, and a staff committed to exceeding their expectations every day. Visit us today at www.trilogyhs.com/live to find out why Trilogy is where family comes to live.
Are you working way too hard for way too little? There's never been a better time to consider a career in IT. You could enjoy a recession-resistant career in a rewarding field with plenty of growth opportunities and often flexible work environments. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new career in months, not years. Take classes online or on campus, and financial aid is available to qualified students, including the GI Bill. Now is the time. mycomputercareer.edu.
Get ready, because Scott's is taking over Daylight Saving Time. It's such a big event that we're calling it Day-Long Saving Time. And now it's got real savings. In fact, it's the biggest deals of the year. Audacious? Absolutely. So don't wait. Stock up early and you'll be able to save up to $20 on Scott's Triple Action and Easy Seed products today at the Home Depot and Lowe's. Offers available March 9th through 22nd at select U.S. stores while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See store for exact offers.
I'm attorney Darrell Isaacs, the Hammer, founder of Isaacs & Isaacs Personal Injury Lawyers. If you've been injured in a car wreck, our team will fight to get you the money you deserve. Just click and get help quick. Go to WeWin.com. That's WeWin.com.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, your senator says that the future will be short for President Biden's proposed budget. Plus, what happened to a guidance counselor in Pendleton last night, and how the Hoosiers are preparing for a big game in Chicago tonight. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis.
We're about to hear from President Biden.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, reacting to the jobs report showing a hiring slowdown last month, though the 311,000 jobs created were more than expected. The unemployment rate also unexpectedly rose to 3.6%, and wage increases outpaced inflation.
Now, the Federal Reserve is also watching this wage growth. Companies feel pressure now to raise prices to pay for increased wages. The jobs report is critical at determining how high interest rates will be.
Fox Business Network's Edward Lawrence. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen just touted the Biden economy at a House hearing.
We've seen the strongest 2 years of business creation in history, and real U.S. GDP per capita is at an all-time high.
This as Republicans hammer away at the Biden budget plan that'll go nowhere in the House. Congressman Chip Roy tells Fox.
His budget makes his priorities clear. His administration is at war with the American people's freedom and prosperity. We need to shrink Washington and grow America. His budget would do the opposite.
The president says it would cut the deficit, and he proposes raising taxes on corporations and higher-earning Americans and put a new wealth tax on billionaires. Former President Trump is calling yet another investigation into him a witch hunt.
Our country has become the investigation capital of the world. Actually, that's all we do.
Posting on social media, he did nothing wrong and never had an affair with Stormy Daniels. This after the former president is running again, got an invite to speak before a New York City grand jury next week. It's investigating alleged hush money paid to Daniels before the 2016 election. Parts of California are in for heavy rain, leading to worry about flooding, especially in mountainous areas buried under feet of snow that could melt.
I mean, it's frightening, and we've had a long winter as it was. Right. Enough.
She's in South Lake Tahoe. There are also wintry advisories and warnings from Washington State to Connecticut. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A proposal, he says, is going nowhere. It's partly cloudy and 37 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Senator Mike Braun says a serious shakedown of the federal government is needed.
Back in our home states, we would bring every stakeholder in. Do you need more? Build the case. If not, you're going to get less.
Talking to Fox News, Braun says President Biden's $6.9 trillion budget, which he revealed Thursday, is dead on arrival in Congress. The president says the budget will reduce the deficit through a tax increase on the wealthy. 3 separate shootings happened in Indianapolis, all within an hour of each other Thursday night. John Herrick reports.
IMPD says the first one happened around 6:45, and the other 2 happened in the 7 o'clock hour. They happened on the northeast, northwest, and east sides of Indianapolis. 1 person was killed and 2 other people were injured. Police are looking for suspects in all of them. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A guidance counselor at Pendleton Heights High School has been fired for not following the school's gender support policies. The school board voted to terminate Kathy McCord, who is said to have been telling teachers at the high school not to support the policy, which allows students to fill out a confidential document telling school leaders what their preferred pronouns are. There is a chance for snow this weekend with a shot of cold air coming in from the north.
There's a chance of snow late in the weekend on Saturday night and Sunday.
Mike Kosh with the National Weather Service, but he says there's not a lot of accumulation expected. The quarterfinals are set for the men's Big Ten basketball tournament. The Indiana Hoosiers will be facing Maryland this evening late, but Purdue will be taking on Rutgers. IU freshman Jalen Hood-Schifino says they've been getting prepared mentally this week.
It'll come down to the, mental mistakes or whatever, so we just got to stay locked in and be prepared. So I feel like we've been going hard these last couple of days, and we're excited to get out there and play.
Purdue's game with Rutgers tips off in an hour or so, but you can hear IU's game live late tonight with pregame starting at 8 o'clock right here on 93 WIBC. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-200-1966. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-200-1966. That's 800-200-1966. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
Listening to Rob Kendall.
The idea that because some guy down the street from you sold his home, you should have to pay more taxes is wholly ridiculous. The whole thing is a giant scam.
And Casey Daniels.
Sounds like the Indiana Republican Party needs to work on their P&L statements. Taking this much, you spend this much.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Friday, March 10th. It is 6 minutes after 11, and you're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Let's talk about Mitch McConnell. The Senate Minority Leader, he's being treated for a concussion and is staying at a hospital for observation after he fell at a hotel in D.C. on Wednesday evening. He tripped at a dinner event. He was admitted to the hospital, and now he's being treated. He's going to stay there for a few days of observation and treatment. It happened at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in D.C., which was formerly the Trump International Hotel. He's 81 years old. He's the Senate's longest-serving GOP leader, and he was at this event. It was a PAC event. He was there raising money. So now we have not only John Fetterman, but also Mitch McConnell in the hospital.
Well, everyone wishes him a speedy recovery because that's what we do here. We're good and decent people, no matter how we're treated as taxpayers. We want the best for him. But it does entertain the question of what does the Republican Party look like after Mitch McConnell? Because he has now been in charge since the mid-2000s. I think maybe it's 06, I think for some reason stands out that he has been the head honcho over there in the Senate. And it also does raise the question. Look, anytime you're talking about a political person, and again, we wish him the best in a very speedy recovery, but you always talk about, you know, we hear this all the time with presidents or whatever, when something's going on with them. We talked about it with Jimmy Carter a couple weeks ago, that when you talk about them, you have to talk about their governance, their role in governance, the accomplishments and failures, because that's why it's in the news if something's going on with them. Mitch McConnell's been very unsuccessful as the leader of the Senate. They have spent the overwhelming majority of that time as the minority party.
Okay, well, he did help get some conservative judges.
He did. He's
on the Supreme Court.
And I was just going to say, I preface this by saying he was A+ on the judges, which is so weird that you would be so good on those judges, and I've never understood this, and so resolute. And the country does owe him a thanks and a debt of gratitude for standing firm on the Merrick Garland appointment. And I think we've seen a huge benefit to the country because of the decision he made and then the judges that Trump appointed. But the rest of the record is this just bizarre hodgepodge of huge government, of increased government spending, of growth of government. And it's just so weird. I don't understand how those two things can correlate and go together.
And currently, he's singing the same song as Chuck Schumer is, especially when it comes to January 6th.
Yeah.
He was instrumental in passing some Trump-era tax cuts.
But the tax cuts don't matter if you don't do the spending cuts along with them.
Okay, yeah. Good point.
That is something, and I think a lot of people are wising up to it as we have seen record or near record inflation the past couple years. I didn't fully understand that until, I mean, it was before the most recent bout of inflation, but I didn't fully understand or appreciate that for a long time, and I was around this stuff all the time, how the tax cuts are great and they're wonderful, and in the brief time that they were a thing pre-COVID, they worked. In the very short term, it boosted, it made America competitive in terms of corporate tax rates and keeping jobs here and rewarding companies for keeping jobs here. But
if you don't stop spending at the same time,
it is so weird. I mean, in a weird way, the Republicans are worse than the Democrats because at least the Democrats pretend to want to pay for all their government. Now, the tax increases that they propose will never, it's not an offset. I mean, there's never enough money to offset the amount of spending they're proposing. But at least they're honest with you about, hey, we got to pay for it, and let's soak these rich guys. I mean, you could soak everyone and not pay for it. The Republicans, on the other hand, they're disingenuous and dishonest because they, air quote, cut taxes, but then they don't pay for it. They're just diners and dashers. Oh, yeah, 7 generations from now we'll pay for it. It'll be great. And I think that's got to be part of the conversation about Mitch McConnell's legacy is his growth of government, his growth of government spending, and regularly siding with the Democrats to enhance the national debt.
So right now the Senate, very close. I mean, it's narrowly divided, right? Democrats in control of the chamber, 51-49. But now you've got Mitch McConnell out. And you also have Fetterman out. Are these two?
And Feinstein is out.
And you're right. Another one. So what does that make it?
That'd be 49-48. So Manchin and what's-her-face are still in charge.
Right.
The Arizona lady. Sinema.
I mean, what can these guys do from the hospital? Are they doing anything? Are they allowed to? I mean, they're...
I don't think the Senate rules allow absentee voting. I could be wrong. Now, remember, the House had the proxy voting under Pelosi, and I think the Republicans changed that under McCarthy.
Got away with that.
But I don't think the Senate allows that, which, again, it means, I mean, de facto, Manchin and Sinema are the deciding votes, as they always are. But it also sparks the conversation about the aged population of our elected officials.
Right. He's 81.
And he's young compared to Feinstein or Grassley or, I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. 81, you should not be making choices for the entire country.
Right. I mean, he's the man.
Yeah. He's one of the most powerful people in the entire government.
Right. In the entire world.
Yeah. And he's 81 years old. And we are a country that keeps rewarding this. And these people stay because of the power and the money associated with it. So all that, we wish him a speedy recovery. But when these things happen, I feel like some broadcasters, writers, whatever, are like, well, you can't actually talk about them. Well, you should be talking about them because the only reason you're mentioning whatever's going on with them
is how it affects us.
Is because of the things they did. Yeah, absolutely.
12 minutes after 11, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So President Biden, he released his $6.8 trillion budget, puts higher taxes on the rich, targets corporations, gives a huge amount of money for social programs. So this is the largest peacetime budget in history, including $842 billion for the Pentagon, a 5.2% pay raise for federal employees, $6 billion in support for Ukraine and Europe, $37 billion on nuclear weapons programs.
It is a staggering amount of money to be spent when you factor, I mean, it's a staggering amount of money, period, but it is a staggering amount of money to be spent when you factor in what the federal government has done in terms of printing money and spending the past 3 years and the ramifications in terms of inflation because of that. And this budget is a middle finger to every U.S. taxpayer, and they are saying, we don't care.
$6.8 trillion. It's going to be a battle. I mean, he's got to get that passed by the House.
Right.
And they're saying it's the road to ruin.
Yeah, that's not going to be passed by the House. But do you, okay, Casey, do you have any faith in the Republican Party, whether it is the debt ceiling, which is an incredible opportunity to get spending under control, or this here with the federal budget to get spending under control? Do you have any faith that the Republican Party will go to the mat on behalf of the taxpayers and do what is necessary to get spending under control, which is what you have to do if you want to solve inflation?
Okay, well, you've been railing against McCarthy a lot. And so far, he's more or less kept his word on everything he said he was going to do.
But not on the spending, because he has not had to rally votes on that yet.
Well, and now he's going to have to do that. So we'll see.
Right.
Right? If he continues on the path of keeping his word, maybe things will go in a different direction.
It should also give pause to the American people because you have a president who is submitting an unserious budget. Like he knows, he doesn't know because he doesn't know where he is at. But his people know. There's no way this is going to pass. And yet they submit this, which is a giant waste of everybody's time and resources and money. And they don't care. There's no way this is passing. They know it's not passing. And yet they go through with the exercise.
Okay, so when Republicans took control of the House, they vowed that they would hold the Biden administration accountable for the withdrawal of U.S. troops in Afghanistan. Right? Okay, and they're kicking off their first hearing examining that withdrawal from Afghanistan. Republicans, of course, called it a stunning failure.
Yeah, why don't we take a break? Because I want to play this audio from Ned Price, which goes into the amount of money that was lost in Afghanistan on military equipment. And again, what just a colossal disaster this was for America. And the Biden administration doesn't seem to care at all.
All right, we'll get into that coming up from 93 WIBC.
Galloway hits again. Big Ten. He slides it home and a foul.
Big teams.
The Hoosiers knock off the Purdue Boilermakers.
Big tournament.
You earned the double bye in the Big Ten tournament.
It's been the most competitive Big Ten season in recent history, and IU looking to take it all. IU takes on Maryland in the Big Ten tournament tonight in game number 2. Follow the Hoosiers throughout the Big Ten tourney on your home for IU basketball. 93 WIBC.
Attention men, here's a great way to have more fun in bed and save money. If you want to take something like Viagra, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Yes, $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. These pills work for men to improve their performance and confidence. You will love them. And now, for the price of 2 or 3 pills, you can get 50 or more for around $100. You'll save hundreds of dollars off retail prices. That's enough to buy your date a nice dinner. Don't pay expensive prices for Viagra. Call now, order 50 or more of our blue pills, and pay as little as $2 a pill and save hundreds of dollars. Call anytime for confidential shipping.
Call Steelman Pills now at 800-BUY-BLUE. 800-BUY-BLUE. 800-BUY-BLUE.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis is everything that's right about Central Indiana. They've been locally family-owned for 50 years, helping our local economy remain strong by employing 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis is proud to do business right here in the great state of Indiana. They're a conservative-minded company that shares our values and stands by their products and services. You can call Garage Doors of Indianapolis today for service today. 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number? Not me. Nope. Nuh-uh. Oh, no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Every time your power goes out, you say to yourself, I'm going to look into a whole house generator. Don't wait another year. Call the Generator Guys. The Generator Guys are a local company that installs Generac and Briggs & Stratton whole house generators. The Generator Guys offer a 7-year free extended warranty. Before you overspend with someone else, call for a quote or free second opinion. Don't lose power anymore. Call the Generator Guys, 317-886-8996 or GeneratorGuysLLC.com.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's a mean guy.
And Casey Daniels.
She's the nicest person I've ever met.
On 93 WIBC.
20 minutes after 11, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And trending this hour, daylight saving time. That's a reminder for you. It happens Saturday night, Sunday morning, 2 a.m. That's when we're going to spring forward. And of course, people like to remind you this is the time to make sure you check your fire detectors around your house, your fire alarms. Make sure the batteries are all up to snuff.
So this means it will stay light later, but it will also get light later, correct? So right now, when I leave to go to work, the sun is either coming up or is out.
Yeah, it will be an hour later.
I will be back in darkness.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hate this.
I'm sorry.
Do you like it, though?
I like that it stays light later, but I don't like it in the winter when it's dark at 3 p.m., though.
You've got some weird fetish where you need it to be light at 10 p.m., which is very weird to me.
I like sunshine, Rob. What can I say? Also trending is the Oscars. It's being held on Sunday, and this is the first time in over 60 years that there will not be a red carpet. You know, they always have the literal red carpet leading into Dolby Theater. Instead, it will be a champagne-colored carpet this year, and it is to evoke the champagne flowing during the awards show.
Oh!
Yeah.
Well!
Jimmy Kimmel is the host.
Of course.
And let's see here. The champagne carpet events begin at 1:30.
Will you watch this?
It starts at 8 p.m. I don't know really any of the movies. I think maybe I've seen one, which was the Elvis movie.
Remember when this used to be a huge deal?
Yeah. I'm to the point now, if I've seen one of the movies or I know any of the actors, I think I'm with it. Because it used to be I would know all of the actors and actresses and yeah. Now I don't recognize any of them.
Question for you on this. How much has streaming access... The fact that so many of the movies now are directly to a streaming source.
Yeah.
How much does that have to do with the lack of engagement? Because it used to be, movie comes out, I must go to the movie theater to see it. Fewer movies were made because you can only get so many movies in a movie theater. And so the company themselves had to put more effort into making the movie. And you had to put effort in because you had to go to the theater and you were like, okay, I've used my money. Even if this movie stinks, I'm going to be engaged in it because I've spent money. And now there's no unique or special, for the most part, about these movies because, well, it's on a streaming service.
Right.
Or, it's a direct to Blu-ray or whatever. It just kind of takes the engagement from the people throughout the year out of the movie viewing industry. And thus maybe you don't care about it at the awards.
Yeah, don't care about the Oscars. Don't care who wins. Only if there's something newsworthy happens will I be mildly interested, like last year with the Will Smith, Chris Rock slap.
It's been a year?
Yeah, well, that was last year.
Wow.
So hopefully there will be no bloodshed this year, which maybe is why they're not having a red carpet.
Yeah.
Can't disguise it. 23 after 11. Earlier, before the break, we were talking about the exit of U.S. forces from Afghanistan and that rushed evacuation of all of the allies and how the Afghan government fell and the Taliban regained control of the country. And it's one of the most damaging periods of President Biden's tenure in office. And then, how much it cost.
Yes, this was a colossal disaster. And if you really look at the tanking of Biden's approval ratings, it dovetails with this event because it was something the media could not hide. They couldn't hide that all this stuff got blown up. They couldn't hide that American servicemen and women were killed. They couldn't hide that these lunatic, maniac Taliban people had taken over the country and were once again imprisoning or belittling or demeaning or persecuting women or people of faith or whatever. And it really was an eye-opener for anybody who wasn't paying attention to how much the media manipulates you and your opinion of someone or something. Because once the media stopped hiding for Biden, not because they didn't want to, but because they couldn't, his approval ratings went in the toilet. But Biden doesn't care. Remember, he was checking his watch when those service people came back? And now one of the things that's come out is how much money was lost over there. What was it, like $7.2 billion was left behind in aircraft, guns, vehicles, ammunition, and specialized equipment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the State Department spokesperson, Ned Price, says he's not familiar with any of that. Let's take a listen.
Washington Free Beacon claimed that the Taliban are in possession of $7.2 billion worth of American arms that were left behind, including airplanes, ground-to-air missiles, and so on, that pose a threat to a U.S. interest. Do you have any comment on that?
I'm not familiar with that report, and that's an issue that our colleagues at the Department of Defense would be in a better position to respond to. What I can say is that since August of last year, we have found that previous estimates, and I can't speak to this one because I'm not familiar with it, of material that may be in the Taliban's possession that was left behind after the evacuation. Those estimates were inflated by a large degree, but I can't speak to this.
Just like the Biden administration, they can't speak to anything. I mean, that is their MO, pass the buck. Whenever asked anything, we don't know that. You have to go someplace else. 13 U.S. service members, 170 people were killed during that withdrawal after that suicide bomber detonated explosives. So they're saying that part of this committee is to not only set the scene, but to allow some of the veterans a chance to tell their stories and experiences on the ground during the withdrawal. And many people are saying that the Biden administration has just dismissed the trauma that it caused and just trying to sweep the whole thing under the rug.
All right, Casey, let's take a break. When we come back, an unbelievable story involving a lunch lady. And I never had the lunch ladies being pegged as these type of people, but
there it is.
You got to watch everyone these days.
We'll get into it coming up from 93 WIBC.
A horrific car accident left Paula with major injuries and surgery after surgery.
I got to the point where I really couldn't walk. I had to resign from work. I was really just laying in bed. It was terrible. I wouldn't go back under the knife.
She missed working and traveling, but all that was about to change. QC Kinetics used natural biologics to treat Paula. No foreign substances. They provided regenerative treatments that helped subside the pain and restore her quality of life.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I was feeling more movement and doing stuff. And then I start crying. I'm like, I can't believe it.
For Paula, this moment was extremely emotional.
I couldn't do nothing. And now I'm working, and I was on my feet for 7.5 hours, and I feel good. I got my life back because of QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics now for your consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
Indianapolis, do you have old, ugly, or even damaged concrete? Not sure what to do about it, but you know you need to do something? Well, you need to call Galaxy Concrete Coatings. This product is out of this world, and it's right here in Indianapolis. And just in time to give your concrete floors a transflormation. Galaxy Concrete Coatings is 4 times stronger than epoxy. It's designed to not only work on your garage floor, but you can use it on driveways, walkways, around your pool or patio, commercial or residential. And it's UV resistant, which means it will not yellow. And even better, it can be ready to go in about 24 hours. Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com or call 317-751-9070. Indy, you're ready for a transflormation. Call Galaxy Concrete Coatings today, 317-751-9070. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They are out of this world.
Hubler really does have it all. All of our pre-owned vehicles are Hubler Q certified, which include a 128-point vehicle inspection, a free Carfax vehicle history report, and 2 warranties. A 2-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and a 30-day, 1,000-mile comprehensive warranty. Visit any of our 13 locations today, or click drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it all. It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep your operation running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, Maria in Miami, and Jules in Troy. taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with high-quality supplies for every industry, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Emmer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How it compares. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. President Biden's $6.9 trillion budget proposal is something that he says will lower the deficit the country faces. But House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says without spending cuts, the U.S. is in for some big bills to pay.
All that spending Democrats did while they were in power. And now he wants to spend more. So now we have to pay the piper. We're going to pay more than $10.5 trillion in the next 10 years just on interest.
Some economists say that will be more than the projected defense budget in the coming years. AAA is urging drivers to adjust their sleep schedules with this weekend's daylight saving time switch. Travel Club spokesperson Kara Hitchens says losing an hour of sleep with the time change can make drivers more tired than they realize. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Woke up in the morning, put on my new plastic glove, served some reheated Salisbury steak with a little slice of love. I got no clue what the chicken pot pie is made of. Just know everything's doing fine down here in Lunch Ladyland.
Oh,
boy. Good stuff.
11:32 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Talking about lunch ladies. I don't know if you heard about this story, but a former school cafeteria worker allegedly sexually assaulted a teenager in Connecticut, and she has since pled not guilty. She's accused of sending a boy unsolicited nude videos and images of herself while also meeting him for relations.
Okay, Casey, you know I don't notice people's appearances, so I'm going to need you to help me on this one.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think back in my lunch lady time machine when I was in school. And I do not recall the lunch ladies that were serving the tenderloins and the pizza and the peanut
chicken
butter.
nuggies.
Yes. I don't recall them appearing like this.
Right. Looking maybe a little older, perhaps?
Yeah. They looked a little older back then.
Yeah. This woman, she
looks like she's posing for her mugshot, by the way. I love this.
She does. She's got like the duck lips and the fish lips and the kind of the pout. And I'm sure she truly is pouting because she's being arrested.
Right, absolutely.
But it looks more like it's the I'm trying to give a high cheekbone look pout rather than being upset.
So I saw this story. It's been on our template for a couple days now. This was, where was this? This was Connecticut, wasn't it? New Fairfield, Connecticut.
Yep.
And you think about, okay, we hear the stories about the teachers and the students. And I got to plead ignorance. It never once dawned on me
that the lunch lady?
That there was also potential.
That the lunch lady would do this.
Because you think about, okay, the interaction between a teacher and a student is every day.
Right.
There's a learning, you know, there's a power and submissive, you know, environment, teacher to student. How would you even strike up a conversation to get to this point? Like, how allegedly did this go from here's your turkey burger to here's some nudes?
At what point, with this boy getting his tray and sliding it down
the
line, are they passing phone numbers
Exactly.
back and forth?
Like, you could see how it would happen with a teacher, be it man or woman, and a student, which is sick and weird and bizarre. It's no different. But from a pure
logistics
standpoint, like, how did this even happen?
Well, she allegedly began communicating with this 14-year-old victim when he was in 8th grade, and then assaulted him when he was in 9th grade. I mean, this is how gross this is, how this started. But this woman, she apparently sent a message to this 14-year-old boy asking him if he wanted to see something. And then moments later, she sent a nude.
No way.
And he asked, did you make a mistake in sending this to me? And then she sent another one.
No way.
And then she asked him for photos. And of course, the boy was with some friends. And then she messaged him and she asked if they could meet up. She drove to the location to get him. He went out and then reemerged acting differently. Of course, the friends were around, and a 14-year-old boy, he's not going to keep that quiet.
So Breitbart had this story, and again, all of these are just allegations. She has
Allegedly.
not been convicted of anything.
She pled not guilty.
If indeed that was how it happened, that's pretty brazen.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she was ending the conversations with "Goodnight, XOXO."
Oh, she's one of those people.
So they secured an arrest warrant for her back in February. She's been released on a $100,000 bond. She's due back in court on May 23rd.
Totally unrelated to this, Casey.
Mm-hmm.
Why do women end their messages sometimes with the XOXO? You don't
hugs and kisses?
You don't strike me as the sort of person who has ever ended a message
Kissy emoji
to anyone
with XOXO.
XOXO.
Because it means hugs and kisses. Are you wanting some messages like that?
No. I just wondered why. I mean,
gee, he needs attention.
Why somebody? When did that start? How did that start? Why did XO be? So X is the hug.
No, X is the kiss.
X is the kiss?
Oh, yeah, O is the hug.
O is the hug.
I think I'm right. Right, Kylan?
Yeah, I think so. The X, it looks like a pucker of the lips. And then the O is like you're wrapping your arms around them.
Listen to her. She's got it. Did you do this?
Did you
no,
make
I
that
don't, but my friends do.
Did you make that up or read that somewhere? Or?
No, it just sounds kind of logical.
Oh. Okay.
Everybody knows
it sounds good.
Everybody knows that.
Because I have seen people.
Come on.
I have seen people over the years who will make social media posts and then they'll put which one's the hug? O is the hug. They'll put just repeated O's before they sign their name because that's a thing that people also do. But then they make very clear that these are just O's because I want you weirdos to know I'm not giving you any X's. Have you ever seen that? Where they just do all O's and then they make it very clear that why they are just.
No, but I've heard that the hey and the more Y's and the hey means more interest.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Like one Y is just hey.
Do you do this?
Two or multiple.
If a guy texts me, hey, I'm going to...
Yeah.
It depends who you are, but I might block.
This is a guy thing,
too. It can be a girl thing, too, texting you.
More Y's means more interest.
Yeah.
Hey.
Who came up with these things?
It's the dating world. Don't question it.
Who is the person that invented this? That's what I must know.
I don't know. Let's talk about Walmart. Totally changing the subject. It's going to close its last 2 stores in Portland. And the city's been contending with a lot of shoplifting, and the closures are set for March 24th. The CEO says they're dealing with a lot of shrinkage because of the crime. They say theft is an issue. It's higher than it's historically been. So no more Walmart in Portland, Oregon.
Before we get to this, Micah just sent me a message.
Did he say, hey?
He put getting a lot of good feedback on State House happenings. XOXO.
There you go. How would you rather him say hello, good night? I mean, look, Micah, don't send that to Rob.
Anyway, I'm sorry. What about Walmart being vandalized and looted and rioted in Portland?
They're closing the last 2 Walmarts in Portland.
Think about how insane your violence has to be that even Walmart is like, yeah, we're out.
We're out. No more.
I didn't even know it was possible to impact Walmart.
Yeah.
I thought Walmart was the sort of entity
that could sustain anything.
Hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, earthquakes, riots, looting.
Have you seen the videos, though, of people going into the liquor stores and for whatever reason, just taking all of the bottles and just trashing them on the floor? Not because they're trying to steal.
They're just destroying.
They're just destroying property just to do it. Just like mental issues. And they're not being stopped.
Isn't that the amazing thing that there are stores who give direct edicts to their employees?
Well, yeah, they don't want their employees to be hurt.
But even security people sometimes.
Right.
Like, don't just let them go. Why is the security person even there?
Right. So the CEO of Walmart said that they consider many factors, including current and projected financial performance, location, population, customer needs, proximity of other nearby stores when they're making decisions. And they said after we decide to move forward, our focus is on the associates and their transition, and then we're out. So they're out. Okay, let's talk about R.L. Stine. This is the author of
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps?
Yeah.
Did you read these as a child?
Yes.
Really?
Oh, I had a huge collection of Goosebumps books. I had all of them at one point. I was very proud. Young Rob Kendall, I had a string of them. I don't know, and they were numbered. All the Goosebumps books were numbered. And when I was a kid, that was like a big deal.
Get through them?
To have the collection of Goosebumps books. And I think at some point, I had them well into the 30s.
Oh, wow.
Like not my 30s.
They have a lot.
Yeah, not like my 30s, but I'm saying, oh, yes, I would guess. I have no idea. Obviously, it's been...
You have the whole collection.
It's been decades since I have read or collected or whatever. I mean, I'm talking when I was 5th grade, 6th grade, something like that. But there were, I would admit there are hundreds of those now.
You know, the book collection that I was very proud of was the Funk and Wagnall encyclopedias.
The Who's?
Funk and Wagnall.
I bet that was very popular in the 40s.
It wasn't the 40s. Funk and Wagnall.
And Wagnall.
Yeah.
That's not even a name. You're making that up.
No, it totally
There's
is a name.
There's no way.
Yeah, you'd get one a month until you had the whole collection.
So you would be saying, boy.
Before the internet, we had encyclopedias, Rob.
No, but just the name. So you would sit and wait for the mailman and go, boy, I hope today is the day I get my Funk and Wagnall encyclopedia.
Yes. Yeah. But this R.L. Stine, who's the author of Goosebumps, is accusing the publisher of making changes to the books without his permission. And what is this? More woke culture? They're changing references like ethnicity, mental health, and weight?
Yeah, and these books, I have no idea if they're still in existence in terms of new ones. I think these are the old ones, like the ones that I read. They were big in the 90s, and they were horror books, but they were for kids. So there was like humor to them. It wasn't blood and guts and gore. Kylan, you are much younger than me. When you were in school, were kids still reading the Goosebumps books?
They were. I never read them because they were too scary for me. But yes, my friends were.
And I know Nickelodeon made a bunch of them into movies. I think there was a TV show maybe with them. And it's almost like, and it was the 90s when these were at their peak, but it's almost like pro wrestling in the sense of they kind of poked fun at everyone, and they would describe, like they said, you would describe somebody if they were overweight, they would do that, or they would, there were stereotypes in the books because that's the way society is, and we should all be able to poke fun at each other.
Okay, well, they're saying they're changing some of the words, like the word plump is now cheerful, and crazy is now silly. And the description of a real nut was changed to a real wild one.
Wow.
And I don't quite understand this one, but nutcase has been converted to weirdo. And they're trying to keep the language current, but avoid imagery that is negative.
So, and this is we talk about this with these movies, right? Where they go through and start editing movies that have been around forever.
Yeah.
So in the case of the Goosebumps books,
they had a movie.
We're talking 30 plus years that people have been consuming this content. Remember when the thing happened at the you'll relate to this. Remember when the thing happened with Janet Jackson at the Super Bowl?
The thing? You mean the wardrobe malfunction?
Yes. And then all of a sudden, the FCC basically said, we are going to go to a psychotic level of crackdown to where, and this went on for years, it's like songs that had been on the radio for years with a certain word in it. Now program directors were pulling the audio. The Who Are You, is the one that stood out to me. If you listen to that song, it's one of the most famous songs of all time. It's been on rock radio for 50 years or however long it's been. There is a curse word at the end of the song when he's asking, who are you, over and over and over again.
Who the blank are you?
I remember as a small boy hearing that and chuckling that was on the radio. Well, I guess after 40 years of being, or 30 years or whatever it was of being on the radio, because some lady showed a nipple, all of a sudden the world and children collectively were going to be scarred if they heard that word at the, and remember, it was just, people are ridiculous.
Well, Tipper Gore did that back in the 80s with the PMRC and putting the labels on everything because of Prince and Darling Nikki.
Now, this is a little different in the sense of its political correctness that is changing this and wokeism, et cetera. But if something has been in existence for 30 years,
leave it. Let
pretty
it go.
sure society managed to survive it.
Yeah.
Yes, leave it alone.
So that Goosebumps, the books, did become a film back in 2015. Starred Jack Black, grossed $158 million at the box office. They made a sequel back in 2018, and that one made $100 million. And you're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show, 3 o'clock this afternoon. Biggest stories in Indy. We got Biden madness. We got Beer Sample Friday. We're just needing you. 93 WIBC.
You don't have to be officially engaged to start looking at engagement rings together. I'm a jewelry consultant here at Chain Company, and we have couples come in all the time to see our great selection. A lot of them like to pick out their top 3 rings. They make it a date, and it's fun. With so many options to create a one-of-a-kind ring, you may not know where to start, and that's where we come in. We're here to help. Chain Company has over 1,000 engagement rings in every price range, from sparkling pave styles to elaborate halo designs. High-quality rings in yellow gold, white gold, rose gold, and platinum. For your center stone, Chain Company offers all shapes and sizes of natural diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, and a broad spectrum of natural, colorful gemstones, from over a dozen colors of sapphires, to rubies, to peach morganite, and more. Come see us at Chain Company today, and have some fun picking out your engagement ring together.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-638-0727. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-638-0727 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-638-0727 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-638-0727.
Why does We Grow Hair Indy have the best hair transplant results? Because they have the best technology. And I'm living proof of it. This is Rob. I'm out and about in the community for this radio station, and I feel so much better because We Grow Hair Indy has the technology that restored both my hairline and my crown area. And this year, they can restore yours too. Call them right now at 317-522-2995. Here's Darren Andrews to explain.
Having that strong hairline again completely changes the way you see yourself. It makes a huge difference. A lot of people think the crown cannot be transplanted. It's actually an area of specialty for us with our multi-unit hair grafting.
My hair is going to grow the rest of my life. I'm very happy I called We Grow Hair Indy. Call right now for your free evaluation. 317-522-2995. That's 317-522-2995. WeGrowHairIndy.com. The gold standard in hair restoration.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
To find an agent near you, visit shelterinsurance.com and switch today.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Thursday, never looking back. It's Friday, I'm in love.
11:51 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Wow, that is one heck of a beautiful house.
Isn't that wild?
If we all pull our money together, like all of us, everybody listening would have to do it. Rush Limbaugh's home sold
for $155 million.
Wow.
So he, of course, lived in Palm Beach, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And this was only, I say only, obviously it's the value of the property, but only 2.7 acres.
Mm-hmm.
And they had estimated it would get between 150 and 175 million. And it ultimately sold for $155 million. The Wall Street Journal has the story.
Yeah.
And if you were to say, this is the perfect house.
Which it is.
Seriously, not just because it's Rush's house, but if you were to say, when you look at this picture, this was the perfect house.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the house, look at the trees, look at obviously the access to the private beach.
Mm-hmm.
It's
the
unbelievable.
American flags lining the drive as you pull in. Okay, so it's a 16,000 square foot mansion, right? It's got multiple little houses next to it.
Yeah.
13 bedrooms.
Guest quarters, right?
Yeah, right. 13 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, 250 feet of oceanfront beach.
The main house, Casey, was
the main house.
The main house.
Yeah.
That's how they reference
the main house, darling.
It in the Wall Street Journal
yes.
is roughly 24,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's interesting because obviously when things like this happen, it is, and he's been gone for two plus years now, it's the closing of the book on the greatest radio broadcaster that ever lived. Like if you were to create the Mount Rushmore of radio people,
yeah,
Marconi, because he essentially invented
it,
the airwaves, and Rush is probably right next to Marconi in terms of importance in this industry. I think Orson Welles, if you were to fill that out, you get into a lot of different people that have
maybe Alan
claim.
Freed, who invented the phrase rock and roll.
But I don't think there's any doubt 1A, the dude who invented it, and then the guy who totally revolutionized it. It is Marconi and Limbaugh. And it's, I say this because it is very true. It is sad that he is not here anymore because our nation really needs Rush Limbaugh. We really need his voice. We really need his unifying place by which people got information. And he was sort of the de facto spokesman for the conservative movement, even at times where there weren't people speaking conservatism. So it is sad when you see this because it's a further reminder that the chapter on Rush Limbaugh's life is closed, and that guy is not popping back on a station near you anytime soon.
And for those of you in Rio Linda, we'll be back on Monday. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kylan. Good job today. And thank you for listening. We're going to count on you to be back here Monday. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hey, Tamer and Nigel for Window Nation. Have you noticed your energy costs have been rising dramatically? Nationwide, energy prices have increased over 14% since last year. It isn't too late to do something to fix your high energy bills. Beat the spring rush with the last month of off-season pricing at Window Nation. Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy with 0 down payment, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 24 months. New windows will pay for themselves with the energy savings on your energy bills, and you will pay nothing for 2 full years with 0% financing, saving you hundreds of dollars.
Go with the window company that has installed nearly 2 million windows, including mine. 866-90-NATION. Get 2 free windows with every 2 that you buy. No limit. Plus, no down payment, no payments, no interest for 24 months. This offer won't last long. Call Window Nation right now. 866